Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam
So, regarding consciousness and this emptiness of focusing to Nibbana, so this doesn't come naturally to me, because when I came to the public in 2012, I never imagined the discourses I was going to tell. But I realized that it was very timely and it was very sort of right, exactly how much we may have high thinking, high philosophy. But sometimes we are at ground level. At certain level, we are not really progressing at all in action. It's all in theory and kind of a spiritual fantasy, I would call it. Intellectual fantasy. So that's why sometimes the real truth is so simple, but it's profound, no doubt. And when you read the original teachings of the Master, it's like, very plain also. Because our mind has got used to, even in school and exams, the type of academic kind of environment just trained us to present something complicated. You get good marks. So I never forget when I was very polished in this practice, when I left to Southern Africa as a young boy with my parents. No, not after that. After my certain experience at the age of 18, while I was there and when I got this sort of glimpse of certain truth, slowly my thoughts started to work in a different way, like to think deeply and slowly. So then I suddenly have to go to Nicosia. I was to come here to Princeton, New Jersey, but then my father was in a hurry. I thought I might become a monk quickly, and I went to Nicosia University there. I have to go. I had no other option. I saw that he wanted me somehow to do. So there, in the initial few weeks or months, I remember I used to listen to these lectures, the professors when they were talking. It was just flowing, just knowledge. And I could see that it's nothing really profound. So my mind was really full. It was working in a certain way that, so after some months when I had to get into that same cycle, and 3 months, 4 months, I was trying to run away also, go back to Sri Lanka, and so many times, but good I didn't do that, because some things we have to go through, certain karmas. This is like a lesson. Not only the university, the life is also like a lesson. There are certain things we have to learn to sort of, so that was very polishing. Then after 2 years, I didn't have to stay long. Something happened in the university and I had to come back. And without my own decision, I was able to spend more time in meditation. So I always tell that we have to face certain reality. So it's like constipation. Until it goes out, the other things don't go out. So you have to allow the stuck part or the suffering part. It has to go. It has to continue. You just hold on to that or try to avoid. Then the better part will not come. So always before the good situation of life, a certain difficult situation, challenging one, but those are the places where you will be polished. So today I don't know what to speak to you. See, what would you like to ask from me? Because I have a stock explanation of certain things, but I'll see whether I should say that regarding, let's see. Yes. Maybe yesterday you could ask. And
I have questions like when we in our friends circle, right? and some friends will easily draw attention of other people.
Draw temper, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So, still want to know what is his attitude? Is because he is arrogant, so he thinks he is superior to others, so
very
he can
Yeah, I understand.
just
Yeah,
so
understand. Very good. Very good question. Everybody understood, right? Said that you understood, right? It's very interesting, when you're when you're a little bit awakened about our experiences, what these experiences are. Now that is where we are conscious. If we are unconscious, we don't experience any of these things, right? So we are conscious from our eyes, ears, or nose, like that. So normally this consciousness we know is created by previous actions, intentions. And that's how it gets a present picture of things, how you feel. So to really notice this, I will tell you an exercise. Like for example, say like you notice, you go to a crowd like this suddenly, and suddenly you notice this one is arrogant, full of negative, this thing, pride and fraudulent, or not sincere like that. And you notice whoever you notice slowly, and go to a quiet place and write in a piece of paper what you notice. Okay? And slowly reflect quietly whether you had those emotions anytime in the past. If you're really honest, you would notice. You are in London. Some of you know. You're just fixing his first time. No? Look very familiar.
India.
Sorry?
India.
Okay, right. I was just trying shocked to find whether there's some who I met in the program. Oh, Buddhagaya, okay. Okay. That time not easy to catch me, right? I could hide. Now you can caught for some months. But another one more month maybe. Finish that. But so when you notice like that, you must go to a quiet place. I'm just telling you an example of a sort of exercise. And when you look really honestly, you will notice definitely that with certain people you did have this emotion certain time. You can't find something which is out which it was not within. So when you notice like that, now normally our defilements they are like demons. They thrive in darkness, like in dungeons, the consciousness, the defilements, the kleshas we call. So now the light is like when you notice that. When you notice now, if you notice something like that, when you make a list, for example, you can phone if it's a friend of yours who you had this feeling at a certain place, you're very sure of that time. You can ask him, how did you feel that time, about me when you were talking? If he takes some time to reply, then you know something is definitely see that you not feel the best to tell. So, but when you note like this, you see, it's like setting a flashlight into those dungeons, into your consciousness, and they begin to dissolve. More you don't see, it's like you think you're always okay. That others are at fault. You're not noticing where the fault noticing comes. You understand how your anger or some negativity is that glasses are projecting this particular experience. You have to really see this. And so it's a disease in you, and that's creating color to the picture. And so when you do like that, you get purified because you already when you're noticing they start to solidify, they sort of dissolve. And when that happens, there's another miracle that happens. Because when you're getting purified, the mystical force starts to work. That means it starts to change those people who you notice also. It's going to raise them also from that because very fine, we don't think when the thoughts are changed, it has no barrier. It goes beyond the body. It goes through walls. It has no distance. So when that purification happens, that's more powerful. And I have noticed this, I have tried this exercise actually one time in Buddhagaya. That's one I never forget. I sort of noticed. I thought this is something of me that And slowly I found the very person, who's acted in such a way. So normally we can see such actions we have done and it's karmic also. Like, in certain period, now I know I sometimes get this kind of warning that this period, you'll have to experience something. So I can notice a certain karma of negativity, and I have to, even the Buddha or the Arhants, like even look at Mugalan Maharaj, one of the main with psychic power disciples, he was like shattered to dust by robbers. He had to go through that action, karma he has done with his parents many births back, where he killed them with the instigation of the wife. And most of the vipaka or the karma has taken place before life. The last residue, even as an enlightened person, his last way to leave the body completely was through that kind of experience. So when you know like that, it's better. You don't sort of react or keep away, and you check your own mind. And I would say, and wait. That's your anger also noticing that, because you're also dirty. The same thing is matching nicely. It's not easy because, and then when you cool down, there will be miracles. They will, even you see some change. You don't expect that change, but you just really focus on you not noticing that and not getting that. Suddenly you will sort of noticing negative things about the person because you're already, you're touched by that, and this anger is coming to us. Now, sometimes we feel nice about persons who are nice to us. Or someone who is critical and judgmental and sort of that, where we feel another one very important. So normally, this insight meditation of like watching it as not subjective, like for example the nature of consciousness. Like when you experience that, it was just a picture in the mind. It was through the eyes, for example. But when you go through that, it's only a memory. It's no more. So you take it very impersonally, like something falling to a projector, like a screen. That's how it happens to the brain. It's like a plain thing, and these things come and we identify as you, me, and like a self with that. So where you notice slowly, there's like that what we call self there. That self is created associating this. That to empty space we don't get self. Really, we have to think either this body or some substance, consciousness or mental factors that we identify as Gnanaloka. I felt it, the naming and all that. So this is very powerful. That will remove suddenly, if you can focus that, then this is subtle. Because like compassion and all that, you're trying to push away, and it is still artificial. Like a dog looking to a well, I always tell, then you see the dog goes out, he thinks there's another dog. Same way, these experiences now, even up till now, there's only now moments of now. There are no realities of past and the future. So these things you really have to contemplate, and there are where you begin to see also Nibbana, if you really practice that. But it removes all mental, emotional suffering and all the other. Any other question? I answered enough. My answers are long, right? If you ask a question, but any other? I will then go to. I feel like explaining something. Any other question? Yes.
When we feel like we have worked on blocks, but we notice that the block is still there in a specific thing, but we thought we worked on it and we thought we got rid of it, but we didn't, because something's happened again that shows that the block is somehow still, subconsciously, it's got to be still there when you thought, wait, I thought I worked on that. How can we get deep enough to unblock the blocks we thought we fixed?
Okay. Yeah. Blocks means you have to understand what kind of block. Is it a defilement? That is like a temptation, sort of. Now, if you're trying to practice, like being distracted by something, it becomes a block to you. Now, I face something like that. Then that could be one. The other one is that you have pain or some suffering from some memory or something you think you have resolved or anything, but it sort of comes and bothers you again.
Mine specifically would be with money. I've freed myself. Things have gotten good, and then I'll hit something that shows me, no, there's just some sort of block with money. I don't thinking I fixed it, but I'm always working on it. So to go really deep into whatever it is, when you're trying to bring abundance, by just letting go and thinking you're releasing blocks that stop things from coming. But then something stops something, and you thought, wait, I worked on that. I didn't know I still had an issue with that.
Mm-hmm. Like you mean regarding money?
Money and things of that nature. Things that where you are, things that can come to make things easier.
Okay, I understand. And there you find you worked on it, and then it's not giving that result, right?
You thought it worked on it. It got good. Things were flowing, and then no, there's another block. Where did it come from?
So if you see that removing that block and that will bring like a certain peace of mind, you will never until your death moment, you will have always sort of uncertainties about it. But if you look at another direction, that in your mind that this is not where the peace comes. Now we have some financial security we need, okay, but we must know that somebody is somewhere always supported, and what you have to get, you will get anyway. You can't stop that. And what you lose also, you will lose. So you have to work definitely, but when a block comes, to know that this is the reality, this is the nature of the block, and that this you can't, this is this thing, okay, you do the solution for that, but you don't try to see that you will be unblocked completely in this kind of direction. That never can happen. If it can happen, you can tell me I just remove my robes and come for this kind of thing. Because even how much this thing, because it's so external and material, that it has the nature of change. It has the nature of instability. It has the nature of just no nature of permanent. So what is important is, okay, you don't worry when, okay, you have solved one block, all right, but one learns to tap another kind of resource. That's why what we want, that sort of undisturbed state, that is within our consciousness. Now normally we think when we settle like this externally, we will have peace of mind and so on. We'll be okay. So we just learn to have the value that now we are already settled in a certain way. Now we are going on, and I can do this certain practice, certain exercise, where this real peace is actually like a cool pond inside your brain. Now being wallowing like that, it makes you not to go taste that pond. Because you are anticipating and sort of, which is, even if you anticipate, it doesn't mean you will even muddle it more when you have to make decisions. But if you can keep your coolness, and when you try to, that means live in the present moment, when you have to deal with that block, you deal it when tomorrow morning when you have to go to that place, office, not now. So when you learn that focusing, and there you learn that you go into a fearless state of, like you touch the energy part of your brain. Now that is where because we are not familiar with that simple exercises of sometimes we call mindfulness and all that. These makes you to wait there in the moment, and it makes you to release that bucket to the well, and you get that coolness. So, and that will enhance the possibility. I must tell you this also. Now, we might think this is the only way to enlightenment and all these things. No. There are situations where, because this is unnatural for you. That is like, to be in the present moment, to be cool, not to worry, this is not natural. So when you are living unnatural things can happen, miracles can happen. So you begin to get nature also for your support. So I know some people make experiments with this. Like in the morning, in Paris, they told me, they were like morning they used to do the yoga or meditation or whatever, focus themselves, and then go. And they have noticed all the time when they do that, where there's no parking space, suddenly something, they have a lot of luck happening that day. And I mean, so the other days when they don't do, who have been doing, they have noticed that also, that, they're like always like unlucky. So you will notice if these things will help you to enhance. Tell you honestly, I passed my exams because of miracles, or because of this fearlessness. My teachers were so upset that I was not studying very much and didn't care about but whatever knowledge I was able to put into the paper. So I will tell some now techniques which will help you. Mention this thing is and this I also see that there are one particular story where this person was almost losing all the money and everything. Not only money, like he was losing his life also. He was having like a terminal, and where he had this experience of it was only took 1 hour, 2 hours to get this experience by a master, where his mind became enlightened, for example, and his lifespan was extended, and his wealth and all that was restored. 4 things: health, wealth, all that is going to, sort of, we think because these all aspects of our life are going to get boosted. So I see meditation as a kind of prapankia or something for all, but we don't see that because. And one other thing, not to worry when it comes, we face, and if you still worry, you feel how you're seated, but and the worry mind thought, you notice that. So you pay attention to that, and moments you do like that, you're creating the possibility of a miracle. And because that's not natural, and you don't worry, when you focus like that, it's just that consciousness. This other is a thought. Like you're taken to gallows, you see, and you worry about the die. You die more than just that few minutes of death or the guillotine. That moment is just a small second or few seconds. But if you worry, that is more than you die before many times. So there you learn to be cool. So to tell you these things, I have no way except to, I don't know any of you have ever heard about something about my life, no? No. Most of them are so, but I want, this is the main discourse, not for me to, and the reason I came now, it's like repeating in every place. You must be hearing in YouTube, right? So for me, like YouTube is now making people, everybody, now I feel like I'm only meeting you now, and I don't know, but from YouTube, it makes you what program went here, but it has helped many people, I'm sure. So some few, 2-3 points come new. Okay, now mostly the stock. So, because I must tell you, I was with one time with the still is LTT, Sri Lanka. It's like 2003. Cutting across the area from south of Sri Lanka to north of Sri Lanka. So there. When I have to enter the area, it's LTT means like ISIS, something like ISIS. ISIS, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Different pronunciation.
Okay, ISIS, huh? Right. I'm familiarizing with that this thing. So this, like Sri Lanka, we had it for so many years, and there that time, but very interesting thing happened there. So then I have to face, when I entered that area, I have to live in the present moment. And then they have killed many monks in the past. And so when the army was trying to stop me, camel regiment, I stayed one night there. And then next day they were telling Bante, please, can we put into a special vehicle for you to pass that area? So I said, no, I only go walking, and this is the way I go. If there's no conflict situation immediately, I can go. Because they have told us that if there's really fighting going on immediately, we should not go to such places. But then, so I knew it was they were not doing it at that time. So I went. So when I was going, the strength I had there was how to get food, how do you live, what happens. So if you have that confidence in yourself, the other thing is how they will treat you. That's I had confidence in my compassion. That I didn't see them as LTT, no, not possible. I saw them as what I understood as who they are. They are made up of mind and body. And they're also capable of, as they are capable of violence and greed, they are capable of also detachment and compassion. It depends who a leader who will come and do that to them or save them from that mental mistake. So I was very clear about it. So then when I entered, I was prepared even to die. So I made sure that I have no regrets. I have, because I don't know how they will respond. So, but when you go like that, actually, I had royal treatment. I don't want to tell the whole story. The whole way, it was like only 1 or 2 times I got like, they came once a motorbike accelerating from far away there. They can go, you should go in the other side. But he came directly accelerating so fast. And suddenly he came close, and then when he was very close, he just turned. So he was trying to die, I was ready. So that was like 1 or 2, not many, but most of the other one was very positive. So with that composure, if you do experience something, there are possibilities. But if you do these things expecting now, maybe some good thing will happen, that's not the one to. Because you can't, you have to really let go. When you let go, you get everything. When you peek, like you do something and you peek through and see, check out, some results are coming, this is also going to lose that energy. So you really have faith and live in the present moment. Now I must quickly tell the normal formula, okay? Because I want to touch some of the points.
Can I ask you a quick question? Because you mentioned about the compassion and all that.
Yes.
Like, for example, now, if you have a parent who is in the deathbed and the doctors nowadays, like, when you talk, like, sometimes they say, okay, it's the best thing for you to, let them go, otherwise they're suffering a lot. So in Buddhism, how do you address this compassion part? Letting go, you have so much love and compassion for your parents, but like, with that love and compassion, with the medical complications that they have, sometimes we have to let them go, like according to what the doctors are telling. So how does this have been explained in Buddhism? Because it's basically like, like you can save his life, but you will only have a body, but he doesn't have any consciousness, nothing at all, but to let them go.
I understand, like a vegetable without response. Sometimes, the doctors will, they have a certain way how to do it. Did you face this?
I did. I really did.
Already
with my father,
and,
yes.
And now it's finished, is it?
It's finished, like, but sometimes like it bothers me.
Okay.
I did it out of love and compassion.
Okay, I tell you. I had to face this with my grandma because all my explanations not from the text like that.
Yeah.
I had to relate to my whole life is nothing but an experience. So up till now, and the reason I will tell why I came also, I faced near. Did you ever hear? I mean, this is what you have to tell because you see me like, because if you have any suffering, you are seeing a ghost now. So this is why I tell, because more than telling a lot of doctrines, that people could get some power, some strength, that nothing to worry. You should not, you have got the main thing, and then you focus on that. You have done the best. So if I stop, I get blackouts. I was in the Himalayas. I had many hard time. Now I'm having too much comfort. Okay, so my body has gone through a lot of, I was seeing now some beggars. Beggars means homeless, right? So I really touched. Even the shower I was picturing, guys, the gentleman who brought me. I just asked him, he said, yesterday, the one I saw when we just entered, went out of the, I was picturing him while I was taking a shower. I don't know. I just, I really don't know. Because the way I understand, this could be one of our relations, one of our past life. We are meeting all these people in different forms. So anyway, only we can send certain thoughts and some this thing. So as to your question, you see, so with my grandma, I had to face this with my grandma. So I was to go to Himalayas at that time, and then, she was very old. Now she was so connected to me. She's the one who made me meet my master, and like all the ordination, the senior Mahanayaka who I ordained under. This was like, she used to take, she has so much devotion. And so she was such a big link for me. But at the age of 18, I had this experience. where I sort of separated or sort of I felt distance in my mind from the from the experiences of life. I will tell you that's what made me also later become a monk. So it was by studying, going understanding physics. Now I want to just quickly answer you and then I'll go back to that, right? So what happened when the last day I went to see my grandma after finishing, meeting the devotees. And when I met her, my auntie and all, she was like a vegetable, She was like, she can't do anything. And my auntie and uncle, they are seated and they're looking at her and they're looking at me. And seeing, because they're seeing, they can't take it. They were like, I could see they are becoming so upset. I should get upset more than them. Because she was really fond of me and they were also jealous sometimes because she was always so protective and I see some connection with previous lives. And so anyway, how did I see? When I saw this is something, we have known that what are we experiencing, what this is. We know this is not created by our own will, it has the karma behind it. So I want it this way, but it happens the other way. So that means this experience is not our true self. Understand? And when we have this true understanding, it's like a nightmare otherwise. But when we understand this was a wrong misunderstanding of me, because I thought wrongly that what I felt, this mother, father, this perception. Now even if that father is born again somewhere and you hear that he's born and they bring him, you want that picture, you're attached to a certain picture. That body. That's why the body is normally given to the relations when somebody dies. Because the relationship is connected with the body. But when you know the body is like a cloth, it was never the person. You see, like last birth, somebody would have thought that body of Gnanaloka, maybe some name, maybe I don't know what, maybe Yogeshwar or somebody, I've been in Himalayas, I think. I have a feeling when I passed away. And that body, if you check, that time they saw some who saw the body, they would have named it. They would have told, come, they would have pictured it was attached to me that time, would have thought this was him. Now what happened? That, all the time I would have brushed my teeth and everything. But then, now it is buried somewhere. And with the causes come another body. In the end of the program, I will be demonstrating something so to get this meditation where you will remove this and when you are doing that, when you are purifying your mind from worrying and fearing, even if after they are dead, you will be blessing them. You will be a blessing. You will be a blessing relation who is going to be a blessing. You understand? You will uplift their consciousness. Not even that father, maybe another father, and whoever you are meeting. So this with my grandma, I had to do like that. And there was another brother of mine who was lost with the commandos. And he was transporting commandos. He was a pilot. And the plane, all that was lost. There also, the relations were all worried, like they were sort of, there were two sets of my relations. Like one that who were very materialistic, until 2 minutes, even only my grandma and my mother in the beginning stages. All others were really very worried. What am I doing? Why this young man, so calm, pursuing this so, simple thing, especially my father, and of course many other relations. So that time when this tragedy happened to the family, they were waiting for me, how I would react, because they were all feeling this. And then I was that time practicing how the ear, the objects, and this insight meditation through the suttas. Then I was at Island Hermitage with my teacher. And when I was doing that exercise of seeing whether the ear, the experience through the ear is you, this was the exercise. So when I came, everybody was looking and watching how I would react. And then I went into a room. Only my mother followed me, I never forget. And then I started to meditate. Because if I think in a sentimental way and in the wrong way, I would feel the same pain also. So immediately I sort of focused myself and checked. This news I don't like. So a news that I don't like, if I'm hearing, can it be me, this experience? I should be able to control it. then what I can't control is not me. But when because maybe that pressure, I really practiced it, and I suddenly felt like my ear was another ear. And this whole experiential thing was another thing. And my mother saw me becoming very tranquil or very peaceful. And she, so much faith she got, she actually, those days, she was my first pupil. And I was not in robes or anything, and she used to worship that time. And so this is where you could, this is one really a best way. And the past is gone. That's the way it has to happen. Now, even my grandma, that karma has to take place that way. When you understand, she has brought certain karma with her. And I have brought that karma now. I can notice when did your father pass away? How many years?
January this year.
So I can understand, not only that, you also have other certain difficulties also. There is one, and then but this is the main one, of course. I mean, that is like certain karmas that is working, but these karmas come to polish the gem inside you. You must know that nature brings you like that. This you have to understand. So I'll just tell something what happened to me, what made me come. Then you will, when you know my story, you will, it will become nothing, okay? Because now you're living still, okay? But she also told me when I came and I was trying to, because this is my main discourse to tell what I went through, but they have got to know from, and they also telling they had some experience. I felt a little bit, because I thought I had gone to a limit of experience in that way. So how to start this? Must go very fast. When I was a young monk, I was invited first to America, okay, by one gentleman when I was in India. And but I told him I will come to America when I'm an arahant. Arahant means, someone who has no greed, no anger, no delusion, no sense of I. He's self-realized fully. I was not joking about it. I was really serious. I don't care about names, but I like I wanted to come to some real saintliness to my standard. So I told him like that. And then what happened? It went on. I went, I was in the forest, the LTT, this 2003, 2004, from forest to forest. Then 2005, I went to India, Himalayas first time, as a monk. So Badrinath, this cave, I was staying there sometime. And then I went to Ladakh, that particular Vasa. In 2006, I was in Himalaya, forest there, then Yala. 2007, Bambalapitiye, that was very deep there, with elephants and bears. Then 2008, India again, trying to go to Kailash. 2009, I went to Kailash, Himalayas, Kailash, this Western Tibet. So this is how I started. From 2009, I started to go to Kailash. Now with high altitude, you get altitude sickness. We have seen people dying, and we have seen people actually almost going to die and recovered. I have seen like that. And we all get altitude sickness. So it is by acclimatizing after some time, you'll be okay. But if you really get it, there's no medicine for that. You have to really go down to a lower altitude. So this, I go quickly. 2014, I got this phrase when I was doing the Kora, that is like going around the Kailash mountain. The second day, all blue and splitting headache, and like just can't go anymore. And I'm imagining all the time there's a vehicle in front. I don't know, because it's an impossibility. You can't even find a horse there. No vehicle. I was just thinking there could be a vehicle now. And then my guide and the driver who brought me, these are the two people. They also helpless. So they managed to bring me to Mansarovar Lake. Going fast. So there, in the night time I was choking. I was not making. I'm not sure whether I'll make it next day. There we have a practice, which I already started. I was doing it from 2004, from in the Knuckles range where I faced with, where I found I was able to overcome pain through this practice of insight. Not the samadhi, didn't work that time. So that's why I'm telling now also how to watch this no self. It's very powerful. Wisdom will free you from any suffering. And this I experienced, and so that I was going to prepare now to face death. So before I was going to focus and watch myself relaxingly, I was not relaxing, it was all very pain, and I knew I'm not going to make it like. So when I was going to focus, this thought came, I couldn't give enough to the sleeper. Now can't help it, because I was running away, or I was keeping away from because one thing I was very keen to really perfect myself and give something. I felt whenever if I got some, when I look at myself, if I got some defilement in my thoughts, I felt I don't want to be a hypocrite, So this was, but I think I overdid it. I should share something like if you're working towards PhD, you can share something with your masters. So then that was this experience. So I made it, okay. In 2015, again I experienced. This was like a no return journey. I was going to a coma. You can't lift the hand slowly. And this is like a, Wild West, I don't know how to compare this place, like the Grand Canyon or some. This area is like that. The Tibetan plateau, have you seen it? It's all like deserty, but high altitude, very cold. And the Kailash is like, very protecting mountain. So there are army camps. So the guides also, they are very frightened of the army and the army camps and all. They have doctors actually. So, but I knew they were never going to go and call them, because we also got permits, very difficult, and they don't know the language properly, the Chinese language. So anyway, I was there on my own. Then in 2015, that's again I did the same thing, and the same thought came. I couldn't get enough, can't help it now. So I made it. Okay, I will tell you. I'm going fast with that story. So when then they brought me to Lhasa. So from Lhasa to, first they were going to send me by helicopter from Takalakot, but the doctor came like a native doctor. He came at around 8 o'clock. The helicopters have gone. So we have to anyway start descending. So we started descending, we used the jeeps we had, and then we started, but it was slow descending, slowly to Saga, like that. So, but I was time to time, it's better than staying there. I can't stay any more longer. So anyway, they brought me to Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, and then from there, flight to Kathmandu. I'm going very fast. After that, I had another experience. It was like a blow from, I was recovering slowly, and I had another one, which I would say is like a blow from Mara. We have heard about Mara, we have heard in books, but this is the first time I would say I have ever gone through something like this. And it was like something I can't tell to you, because I have told senior monks, there's one time you confess and finish. You don't. I would like to tell one day, but I'm waiting for one day, maybe but I'm telling parts of it, just what might help you. So it was like my robes were like removed. It was going to be removed. It was like a blow, such a blow which I treasured and which I was holding on to. Maybe spiritual. That was like, brought to zero. Now to survive, not to make my mind fall. Suddenly it came to my mind, don't personalize this. So that word was not conveying the feeling I was getting, so I made a wrong English word called don't egolize it. Okay? Don't solidify this. And then I just a phenomenon, it's just a happening. And just let it pass away. And when I thought and did like that, I was able to move forward. Now I knew that this is the way, the gems are in front of you. When in front of you only these problems come. Many of us get stuck with that. And through our ego or sense of self only, the greatest damage comes. And the demon enters mainly through that. So if you manage, so luckily of course I have been trained to do this, but I was really also like helpless that moment. Suddenly, instinct brought me to think like that. And then I was able to go forward. So after that, whenever there's such a crisis or some difficulty, that means you're very close to something. Even the demons, they get, the devil get excited when you're not having problems. That means that's a problem. Because you're not progressing. If you're really progressing, you'll have challenge after challenge. It polishes you, it brings you step by step. That means you're really doing something. You understand? And nature doesn't give you something which you can't handle. And other things, those moments when they are properly, suddenly that could be the moment where enlightenment could happen. Like, Angulimal, he was a serial killer. If he worried about all those, that he was a serial killer, he was caught by, say, the army that time. That was the king's army was going to catch him. No policeman was able. So they caught, say, before that, the Buddha went. And what happened to him? Say he was caught by the army, he would have been imprisoned and he would have been regretting. Okay, worrying and regretting the sins he has done. Then what happened? If he die, okay, if in this life he will be mentally suffering with depression. But with those negative thoughts, if you believe in rebirth, they will definitely be reborn in a bad place. But all that was changed by a meeting with that master for 1-2 hours, maybe half an hour, maybe 15 minutes. Just imagine, the so-called calamity and crisis can be changed into a golden, what I don't know. That by enlightenment, what happened to him? He understood who he was. That who this self is, who this person is. And immediately all that karma was burnt off with that wisdom. So I recommend now I'm starting again and again for you to do this meditation. I will tell you the end of the program how it is done a little bit more. But to do this, there are other things that block in our life. Okay? Now again, I'll be going to this explanation normally which I give. Now these are easy to say, but to really experience, to get that hold of practicing, you need a foundation. You need a way of life where you sort of harmonize to get this. Yesterday, as you heard, no? All of you in YouTube, you have heard this. How many of you are new? Today only you are meeting me. Can you slightly raise your hand? Okay, so I have to tell you. Normally, also I must tell you what brought me to this life in the beginning. First, as a young boy, I was trying to make this what I call it non-stop machine. Non-stop machine. Okay, that was because my father, the environment there, the engineering and this designing, all that, designing boards. So it was funny, I met now 2 days back, 3 days back, I think. Nebraska, how do you pronounce that place? Nebraska. Nebraska, is it? Nebraska, how is it? Let's see.
You can say Nebraska.
Nebraska. Correct. Oh. All right. Okay. Because we were against the American accent, in high school it was a British. But it's okay. Real accent is the heart, the accent of the heart. You tell any sound with kindness, it sounds beautiful, it sounds nice. Otherwise you say, sorry. Sorry. It's just the heart. But even if you say, you see, mother and father also, when they're angry, look at their face. And if they're pretending to be angry and, so that feeling you can notice. Anyone can notice what is really going on inside you. So what I will tell you, in Southern Africa, there, then okay, this non-stop machine I was trying to, this thing. So it's funny, I don't want to pronounce that again, okay? So, that state, all right? So that state, I was there, I was doing a program there. And there was a classmate means 2 years younger to me, but he reminded me something. When I left, it was 8th grade, we were at some school called Trinity in Kennedy. There, it was a Christian school. And at grade 8, he told me how he remembers me. And he told me, he last remember the science exhibition. Because that time in school, I was very naughty. Those days, my hero was Bruce Lee. I used to fight a lot, hit, and my parents used to feel very embarrassed. They want to make me like a prim and proper, a prefect. That was their dream, actually, my mother's dream, to be a prefect at school. But she's having a better prefect now, discipline like nothing. But that was in her subconscious. So anyway, she then there I used to fight a lot, caning. I remind some of my teachers who used to have too much energy, something, and I also had a sort of inferiority complex. Like a small maid, and I used to fight and make people frightened of me and like that. Very wicked. So then we went to Southern Africa. After this exhibition, he was telling very nice. That time I was exhibiting this Frankel engine and all these different types of engines. And the class teachers, they happened to look, they were so proud of me. They thought he can do something. Because I was very bad, I was play around, and they also thought I was like not properly brought up. So anyway, we went to Southern Africa. Then all this fighting stopped. But it went to sports, all these sports, a lot of, even javelin I should throw, and volleyball, basketball, cross country, all these, lot of sports I used to do. So, but with close people, I used to get angry. And then meanwhile, like my father, for example, but I used to get into a fit, so I used to control myself, otherwise I would do something really bad. So this was there. So same time I was researching a lot, relativity was an interesting. Theory of relativity was it fascinated me, especially the effect of time dilation. Any of you here have said? You hear, right? Back? Okay. So any science students? Oh, okay. This might be interesting. Okay. So because I had no other surrounding there, this relativity was the relativistic effects of time dilation. That was really interesting for me. So there. Other books also I was reading, many books, Bible, my mother's, she had a lot of religious books, all these other sutras of the old. So some of them it explained, some of the old sutras, how the divine angels come to visit the Buddha, Sakkapanya. Question of Sakka, where Sakka comes and king of gods come and ask question, from the Buddha. Now that was a story where he was losing his lifespan and all that. And then when he got this insight, his life was again rejuvenated. I just put from those points. I didn't want to tell that because now I'm coming to the proof of such words, because I didn't want to bring that immediately in the talk. So there I found that, now they explain 1,000 years on earth is one day there. 1,000 years on earth, one day in that particular dimension. And such weeks, such months, such lifespan. So same way the other plane, higher than that, is like 10,000 years, is one day there. So when you know that possibility, not a possibility, is proven also later in Geneva and subatomic particles, it's accelerated, the meson particle. So there, the 1/4 of the speed of light, they accelerated it, and it lived longer. Lifespan was longer of that subatomic particle. So this, when I know that that's a fact, then this principle would have been operating all the time. Doesn't mean Einstein, because he found, then he started to operate. No, it was all the time functioning. So it's not there without a function. So anyway, it gave me the proof or knowledge that these words do exist. So you are here. So you see, I'm meeting you, right? So she was telling, I said I might come to stage. I might come. And then I finally did come. It's come, the saying whether we'll ever meet. I said yes. Come now. Yeah, I was going to go to. So suddenly the program was arranged here also. So I was telling this, that knowledge, that belief, that strong, no doubt feeling about that existence of that real, that was there for me through that. So now I have been thinking of all these things and neglected my studies. So what happened? Some miracle have to take place. Okay. So what I did was this IGCSE. The exams were going on. So what I did in the night time, this was the first time I ever used some power like that. In the night time, I used to keep the syllabus, English language and English literature, old papers and the syllabus. As students, you don't do this, right? You study everything properly. And when I felt I'm connected, like through relativity, that when I felt I was doubt about the existence of this particular plane, I knew I was corrected. Because lack of doubt is where your visa passport to that particular consciousness. So, and then I knew it was powerful. If I do something, it will happen. So there I approximated English language, English literature, essay, the titles of the essays. Now these big marks, about 40 marks. This IGCSE, all over the world, they sit that time. So then next day, morning, I told my father to go and write, take it to my tutor and write 2 essays under these 2. So I didn't tell all these things what I did. But then he also went, and my tutor also wondered whether I have not studied all the things. Then he wrote anyway. When I went to the exam, these 2 headings were there. That was like for me, like the universe was in my hand. That was my first connection where, but that didn't give me the idea of being a monk. But based on this, I had another experience, which was like this. This is how I reasoned out that time. If something goes faster than the speed of light, it's not practically possible because close to the speed of light, mass increases, right? So this material thing is not possible to go faster than the speed of light because speed of light is taken as a constant. So mathematically, I got to know if something is possible. Say, so I assume hypothetically that say mental, some mind substance, a mind particle, if it can go faster than the speed of light, mathematically it says that it goes back in time. So for example, you can see my hand now. Right? And can you picture it now? So you're going faster than the speed of light. Memory. So this is the way I sort of memory, then intuition, more speeds, like meditation, it's like speeding up. So then the idea came how this, where with insight meditation, where you know that you touch nirvana, where it's beyond time. The time stops completely. So that is where. So now when I explained this in one university, they were telling not Bante, they were like, they were college students of physics and all that. I think we could never twin this way. I mean, twin this idea of how consciousness with the relativistic. This is how I thought. But this was like a theory form for me when I was 16, 17. And based on this, I think I had another experience while going for walks. It was like suddenly in my mind came to me like, what are the causes for any phenomena to take place? This is how I verbalized it. It was a mental picture. I can't really talk like that, but with that mental picture, suddenly like a flash, like rising, passing away. Whatever, it's like an understanding. I don't know how to tell. Like all that arises passes away. Now this conversation, this whatever experience. So it came to my mind, anything that begins in time definitely ends. And for this understanding, there's no beginning. Therefore, there's no end. And there I saw a monk also. That the monk is a person who is like this, who is trying to get this perception that you must be like that. And he's just wrapped up like robes to keep his last body. The body is just, is just like a vehicle for this contemplation. You must be in such quiet places. So this was the beginning, how from there to now, this journey. So I didn't come from an orthodox way. From I thought Buddhism was like a religion or something. From my mother's this thing. So after that, I met my teacher, my master, a German monk from Sri Lanka. He introduced me to the original text, and from that also another experiences came in the forest. So that was very similar to the same one. So it was like now these are the ones that drive me still. This gives inspiration. If nobody's practicing, no problem for me. This is for me. I know this is true. And another important thing I would say, from that experience, the physical body or something of the defilements, especially I told I was getting angry with close people. After that period, I don't know, that experience, some coolness I was experiencing. So people saw my personality very changed. Like my father was very worried also because those days I should just close the door fast and then get into the vehicle. And suddenly all that changed. It was all slow motion. Just imagine, my mother really appreciated. She said, "This is my monk," But my father was really worried because it took a long time for him to understand this was really some spiritual thing going on, not some mental problem. so, so what happened? So after that to now, I counted the times I got angry. Angry means I knew that my button was pressed. You see, it was 7 times. I'm sorry to say it was all in India. Don't misunderstand me. It was also with the taxi drivers. But they are not at fault. It's still that lingering defilements. Because normally I say to overcome your anger is not compassion meditation. It's to overcome your desires. Because desires, to enjoy something, you drain energy. When energy is lost, you need energy to go inside. And when you're not inside your mind, you have the stressed mind. And the stress, when you're stressed out only, you feel irritable. Or you just react like that. I mean, when you're angry, it doesn't show you're happy. So for new people, I want to go through these things about addictions I talk, because now you like to, how you do your work without feeling stressed, right? This is the main thing, how to enjoy California, and also not feel disturbed by it. I mean, there's nothing to enjoy here, I'm sure. I see it's like, slowly, I get to know, unless you have strong involvement, keep yourself busy with these programs or whatever, or practice. Because what is outside is very related to you within you. It shows the potential. So I must tell you some normal things, which I normally explain. I'm going from now, how many, 3, 4, 5 programs, then it will be in San Francisco, then Texas, then it will be in Canada, finish. So, this is too much for me. Too much means, you see, I have never, only 1 or 2 programs, right, in Sri Lanka. 3, 4 programs. And Australia started to happen. So Australia was where I started all this. It was 1 month only. Now this is like I'm going to new terrain. More than 1 month. More than nearly 2 months, I think. Nearly 2 months. Starting from Paris. So somebody yesterday told me, I think it was you, I think. You told me, maybe Bante, you're happy when I'm sorry, you're very tired when I first came here. Because he knows where I have been before now. I'm not just flying from Sri Lanka. Just I have been already going program after program. But the thing is, I can't say how can I be tired, Because if you're in the moment very much, that is only a moment. If you think the past, then it becomes big things. If you're being in the moment, so I'm also trying to teach how to do work without feeling tired. The only problem doing this, I'm always delayed for programs and for Pindapath, all these things. Because I just have to, in the daily practice, have to be done. So this is happening. So anyway, I always think maybe this is better than not seeing me at all. Okay, a little late. But I feel bad about it also sometimes. So what can I do? So what interesting thing, 3 years ago in Rishikesh, when I was in Rishikesh, one yogi, I happened to meet him along the river. Rishikesh, the foothills of Himalayas. So I felt he was like a very special person. He suddenly told me, when you're 45, Swamiji, told me like this, you will have no time to come to this area, Master. And was so right, I have never been so busy as this year, 45, my 45th year, 2017. I have never been so busy. And really, I would like to, I can't even imagine going to Rishikesh. Now, this year is going to pass anyway. So so I'm just telling these stories just to give you an idea about some ideas of karma. This is happening. Some do have an insight into that. And even like when I'm coming to public, 2012, like 2011, I had a terrible time, the worst time also. So now everything, whenever something good is happening, some great difficulty has been gone through. 2011 is another story. but I was already warned by some of my masters, I would say, like they always, that has been quite a help to sort of see karma working. Not, they told me your last karma is taking place and it will be painful. This was like 2010. And certain things happened I never expected. And this is another story anyway. But then that master, he told, when you're 2012, you come to the pub, he will be teaching this. He told one name, I can't tell what it is. You'll be teaching these crowds like that. And then he said, I was telling me, what basis are you telling? I also was interested to know how is he sort of seeing through time or karma. But then he said something dies, something that is mark sign dies or something like that. So, but it's interesting. The things he told about how difficult I will go through 2011, how it happened, and 2012, how this was a karma, definitely we have to certain way go through. So, but more than that, the last scenario was with the Kailash, because in 2014, 15, until now, nothing more. But this is also another trap. In a certain way. So I have to, but I also noticed that people putting flowers, all this, like some programs. So I also think there could be thorns sometimes. This is my different karma. So these thorns in another form. Praise. So this I have to take it as keep my mind really, seeing that this is for the impure body. See, illusionary experience. Keep away from it. Isn't it? So these are some things what I do. Now I will go through these main topics. I normally tell, like in your life normally, suddenly it must be suddenly you put yourself into mud. Okay? Now to remove stress, I'm talking about in your life, suddenly there are occasions where you find now you're coming to programs like this. But suddenly you might feel like going to some nightclub or something which you do hidden. It can be, now today it can be even, especially with the internet. There are so many ways that, because you find what is hidden means something exciting. But you go, what is exciting means it's a rush of dopamine. It's a rush of dopamine, it's very well known. So where there is that particular rush, because you're using the internet, nobody's going to put you into jail or something. But there's another jail, your mental stress will, I will tell you how it happens. Okay? Not on internet, so many ways to recognize certain things. So suddenly when you know you're putting yourself into mud, like maybe in the toilet, maybe it may be something you do that you don't want anyone to know or see. You must know that definitely it is some kind of, like you're putting into mud. Then there are washing, like you come for programs or you do this, you want to keep away from distractions. So this is washing yourself. So this is there normally in our life, washing, putting to mud, washing, putting to mud. It should be there. Otherwise, you should not be here also. So anyway, when this is happening, this is a common thing in the modern day. Now this is happening to people who are destined to do great things also. Remember this. Don't think they are bad guys or something. No. So now I'm telling this mechanism so that this is going to help you your life. And when you are doing something negative, you must know that it is a negative emotion. Some greed, hate, delusion, intoxication is something you rouse into a certain pitch. Now when you rouse that into a certain pitch, there are dimensions or states of consciousness which are equal to that state you're having. They are open. They become connected. And there are beings in those dimensions, they enter your system. Now they give the driving force for you to do something which is dark. There are two things that give the driving force. That is that invisible force that has come to your system and the wrong view. That means you justify it. You may say this is good for my health or just to release tension or stress, or you should take it that way also, even to reduce. Some people take certain alcohol, telling it's good for reducing cholesterol. Okay, I got to know, one gentleman told me. So you have to justify. You can't enjoy something damaging or harmful if you know really convincing it's damaging. So sometimes people like us come and spoil the sport. Spoil sport, you call it, right? So, but I'm telling you for certain reason, if you want to get mental peace, And because people now, it's very well known, stress, to remove stress, mindfulness is really helping. Just feeling the touch with the feet and how you're seated and paying attention to what you're seeing. Just paying notice to that, really, it's called stress busting effect. But that is only one, my friends. In the old scriptures and the practice, there are another 4 more. Now, I don't want to reveal immediately all 4, because 3 more, because it might be taken to NASA and produced back and taken as. But this is about the inner technology, technology of the consciousness, engineering, I would call it. The engineering of the consciousness. So we are masters of that, of course, from the ancient wisdom. This is very well known, how the consciousness, what it is. Because now in the modern world, consciousness is a hard question, they call it. It's not very well known. So what happened, when you put yourself into mind, you open up these lower dimensions, and there are 2 views I tell you. Like, one is that you just try to enjoy. So when you do like that, constantly, what happens? It's like a vampire, it sucks all your energy. How much good you do, it's like it doesn't counteract the washing you do. So what happens when you know like that, next day, when the temptation comes, when someone maybe knocks at your door asking you to come somewhere, or something in the internet you like to watch again or do something, I'll come to that in detail, okay? Because these are there, you'll be surprised. I think no one will tell you these things. And because I found, now I'm talking about the other drive is from the spooks or ghosts kind of thing. So one boy, he listened to this in Melbourne, far away, he slightly it occurred to him that some ghosts are there in these addictions and all that. And then when he was in Melbourne city, he was distracted to go to something, like he wanted to be a monk also, but these things have become normal. So suddenly he remembered what Bhante said, there are ghosts behind this driving force, and he stopped going there. So I thought I must tell the ghost connection with all this. So anyway, because this also for me, I noticed this. That's how all this what I'm saying is connect. I experimented with this and really found out what was going on. So what happened when you go on putting, now when you know next time the temptation comes, you can keep away from it. You can avoid that person, avoid the self number or the contact number. And when you keep away for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, that particular, what it is, nourishment to that negative forces, they don't get it. And those dimensions, the holes in your character get patched up. And the brain gets time to recover. The damaged part of the brain gets time to recover and to sort of repair. And when it repairs itself for some time, you will experience a certain sense of calmness. Because you will find you're reserving energy. Normally, when you do these things, how much you do, you're losing so much energy. Now, when you reserve energy, you will get a certain sense of well-being internally. When that well-being is to a certain standard, there's something in your body created also. Now, in the other way, like adrenaline, when you fear and all this, and also with desires, so many certain fluids in the body are created. I got to know that the certain spirit eat those fluids, especially with sexual desires. There are even food also. That's sort of so much pleasure. With that, there are certain hormones created in the system, the lower part of the body, which these spirits eat that. So they give the triggering or the driving some certain energy. When I'm telling like this, you will get to know the secrets, what is working in your system. So if there is, so when what happens, when you know like that, you keep away the other side, when you get calmness and tranquility coming, something else has to be created. That is called ojas. We don't have a medical term for that in the modern medical thing. It's called ojas, tejas. Now, ojas is a positive one. Maybe like endorphins, for example. For runners, they have. So ojas is something which goes slowly through the nerves to the brain. And it opens the areas of the brain which are not open yet. And they get deposited there. And those deposited ojas, hormones, they create those thoughts or those thinking process. And you create a cycle like this. And when that is a good cycle. When you create that cycle, there will be a change in your body happening. There will be a change in your aura. There will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead. So I tell you, don't lose that shine. And don't keep that, that you become more beautiful, more handsome, or your personality becomes more formed. So the other way, you find that, you may have a bath you might go to a shower and have a bath and do all that, or I don't know, facial, but you have that, that you might do all that, but you look so, no life in you, no charm in you, because that inner essence is being removed away. You're just like artificial something. Okay? So otherwise, now when you have that particular charm, you don't have to apply what you call it Nivea, right? You will have that beauty coming. So the other way, how much you have bath or you have a wash or something, you can't. You become like a clown, my friends. You will be so moody, and so your personality will be formed where people will feel uncomfortable with yours. So I'm telling you, your suffering and that inner suffering starts to be done. So the other way, you will get that inner particular thing. So one day, now some of the things are not easy, my friends. Some of the things, it's a challenge for us to. So this is one thing I want to explain. So when you don't lose the stress, because people only think mindfulness, no. So there are another one which is most important, is called sense restraint, which is reduce your monkey mind, and also how to check your mind be distracted. So it starts with the eyes, for example. Now when I look at you, I see your details, okay? Now, how do I look? Do I look focused or not focused? Now I look focused. Now, how do I look? Look at my eyes, you will see, do I look focused? No. Now, yes, okay. So this is a way where you don't focus, like say you're crossing a road. You check the vehicles going, but you don't look who is in the vehicle. And then, like you're the pedestrian, you see two people walking towards you, but you don't see who they are. This is a basic practice, but it's a very important practice if you want to reduce the monkey mind, because slightest thing registers in the brain. So if you want to do meditation, and so this is one, sometimes when you're driving also. So the other one, the mindfulness. Now in London and other parts of England, I became a good driving instructor. Suddenly it happens that people take me for programs. Like they're all very nice people. I'm getting very special people, I feel. They're like some kind of, I can't tell you exactly, but very interesting. They're like some angels or Devaduta, I would call it. And so I can see that. It's like some mission of some cosmically happening. So anyway, this one of them, most of them, they want to, like, they have got to know that I don't want to talk when I'm traveling. Because I normally do a practice, but someone wants to talk. I'm not a strict person telling, no, you can't talk or something. So this gentleman, they used to ask, like, they are tempted to ask something. So they ask, Bante, can we talk with you a little bit? Then I would say, okay, no problem. And they have many questions. The main question I noticed was that how to meditate while doing the work. So I thought all the time explaining won't do. So what I told that gentleman, I told Sunday, my friend, let's practice now. Can you feel the steering wheel you're holding? Can you feel the leather? Then he said, okay, yes, Bante. And he was holding. And I said, now the chair was reclining, the seat. So he was like erect like that. I told, now in Sri Lanka we have these reclining chairs. I told him, like such chair, you relax in the chair. Just nicely, comfortably, where you don't feel the body very much. Now when I sit down now, I'm seated like that. Now it has been for me conscious. What I'm doing, when I'm walking, I see the peacefulness and then walk. I don't walk just to do something. If I feel some anxiety or some impure thought, then that creates that. So I make sure the impurity is removed in my mind. Then I move. That is my main job for all of you. So then what happened? I told him, relax, hold the steering wheel, feel the steering wheel, and feel the touch of your back with this car seat. When I was telling, he was quiet. So I didn't want to instruct him further, because now I know he was getting that feeling, that equanimous feeling. That means he was feeling the coolness of the pond inside him, the cool pond in his consciousness. Normally we are not noticing it because we are so externally focused. If you can pay simple attention and be in the moment, you'll be building up that particular direction. And if you can taste that, experience that, you may have a crisis situation outside. You don't feel it. It's something outside. You do not identify with that. So when that you're going sinking into the present moment. So when he was quiet. So end of the journey, he started. He said, "Bhante, I never experienced such a peace up till now, and I wish that you are always seated next to me." So he was something. So later on, I get other people who are taking me. That in 4 hours they drove. That they didn't feel that they were. So they are telling me what to do next month. So okay, first you master that. You can do it all the time. And in Milan, that's like catching a train. One lady, I never forget, she was telling me how I have told in the Australian program when you read the walking meditation to take it like a holiday. Just go out because they all go with train to meditate. And then, so she did the same. She should do when she should go for work. She imagined now this is a holiday and just first she note the train, the compartment she has to this thing. And then she walked. While she's walking to that, she would notice the feet, the touching. So, very good. Very good. These are basic now. This is not the way to enlightenment completely, but this is the step towards that. You learn to build that calm mind where you can have a deeper, deeper insights. To do like this only, you're creating the foundation or the environment in your mind where you will have, when you analyze and sort of think, certain insights will come in a deep way. So another one I must quickly touch. Last point. Point means, in the computers. The computers. It's like I had an experience with one kind of, Rishi. Have you heard Rishi? Like who have some mental power. Some who are seers, they are called in Himalayas. They are supposed to be mostly in India. So one of them, I remember, he had the power, like behind you, there are unseen beings coming, but you don't see them. So he had the power to bring those beings into your body and make them talk through you. Okay, I don't know whether you experienced that. So anyway, I was there when he did this. One mother came with a son. So the complaint was the son was not studying and was all the time the computers going for parties and all that. So then suddenly this saint, he was in certain concentration. I found this boy was like suddenly unconscious. Someone else was talking, like this, And then he asked this saint asked, "Who are you?" Said some snake spirit or something. How did you come? How did you come? And when did you come to this body? So when he was 13 years old. How did you come? When he was playing games. When he was playing computer games. I was wondering how these computer games related to this. Actually, I had no idea. But later I understood how. Because say you have, you wish a good thought, a positive thought, energizing thought. It creates an energizing consciousness. Now you have another next thought like kill or something like exciting and you get so focused externally. That creates that intention creates that kind of consciousness. So that way I understand a lower intention creates a lower consciousness. Now that is a reasoning out way. But it was very nice when you see with the MRI scan. It shows that game addiction, it is equal, the dopamine that is released in the brain is equal to, of a heroin addict. Just Oxford University, this research was done some years ago, but it's not so popular. No one is putting it out, right? Maybe the marketing people, all that are there. I don't know how it's happening like that. But just imagine the dopamine, so you can understand the addiction. Now, with the very interesting with the dopamine, how it works, we can know many other addictions we are having. So now another place of the spirit, another spirit, it would enter that body through Facebook. He entered through Facebook while he was. Now I don't know Facebook, okay, and I don't want to know. I know YouTube now because of your programs. I have to do this also actually, but I don't want to, and it's a big danger I see everywhere. Because some of the things, we are not noticing that as a danger. We think it's something simple. We think like if we murder somebody, something, like steal something from the shop or something, those crimes that are socially, this thing. We don't know that what brings anxiety, which destroys our peace of mind. This is what the danger that is happening. So anyway, now the computer is a neutral thing. Nothing wrong with the computer, like the vehicle, for example, technology. The thing is, it's used by unenlightened minds. So we can't say today to remove computers from this. It's not practical. But at least you can become knowledgeable what's going on. So because you can hear good things, you can get so much information. It's information technology, but it's the information of the five senses, not from some divine word or something. You don't get information like that. It isn't. So, but still, it can be used for proper purpose. So, but you have to be aware of this, so there this person told Facebook. So now I understand if something from the computer, some information, it makes you excited, or you feel addicted, you want to do it again and again, then surely you are in the hands of, because the demon is using this more than the God, because this one other place they told, this priest said, like when I was telling this in the morning, because he was telling like some of the things, like they tell about some, I don't know how to tell this, like addiction to, like some very bad websites, okay? This how I can say like that. So, like somebody might think I will just open the website and you just have a peek and then, okay. No, my friend, they say when he decide to press the button, that means enter button with that, they already have entered and they are under their control. So these I'm telling because now after this program, I don't know why I have to tell this all the time, but I can see it's a kind of mission which is blocking to liberation. This is happening through me. Because now people will talk about high doctrines and all that, but to realize this, we are having ground level so many mistakes. So this was only it's going to be a discussion and a talk. We are never going to go into the practice. So another one where they explain, like in our monk's life, we have like grave offense and minor offense. The Buddha has given categorized them. Now it's very interesting. First 20 years of Buddha's life, these things didn't happen in the monks. They were so pure, they suddenly became enlightened very fast. But after 20 years, when it happened, these mistakes, he laid down these rules, not to do it, not to do this, commandments so much. So now very interesting. Now those rules are very interesting. That is to help us. Now somebody might think, someone told me in France like 5 precepts Bhante, how to practice 5 precepts. How do they help us? No. What he said was how we protect, how we observe 5 precepts. Then I told him, no, my friends, it's not that you have to practice 5 precepts or observe them. The 5 precepts protect you. When you know this, that they are given for your protection, but you have to know really that it is to create a certain border for you where you don't go. That's like a red line where you don't jump over and you will burn yourself. So anyway, this regarding the monks' rules, these 2 grave offense, the main one was corrected with brahmacharya. I don't know whether you know the word brahmacharya. Celibacy. Use celibacy rules. And the first 2, how we break that, it's very interesting. For me, it was very interesting. That certain sexual experience, which at the peak experience, the brain function, the MRI scan shows. Now we have the reptilian brain and the brain that analyzes and thinks and so on. That is a special brain we have. Now, when that experience takes place, the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. That means the other part is damaged or shut down. So I was so surprised how the Buddha, like he had the MRI scan that time, 2,500 years, to see how the brain is functioning. Because externally it doesn't look, it's a big crime. But mentally or the nerves, the damage that is happening. So now, like with this kind of, now today it's difficult to find people who are not activating that brain so much. There are activities who are not activating. Activating is like nothing. And then again is the dopamine rush that becomes an addiction. And with the internet, it has more ways of stimulating that part of it. So then I found a group of people in America and even in Europe who know the danger, the damage of these perversions in this particular vein of energy, sensuality, that they sort of got into a group and they keep away from this negative thing for 1 week. So it's a tough thing, it's a challenge because you've got into a habit now, and keep away for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, like that, counting the days. That's very good. And that is called, you can refer, it's called NoFap. N-O-F-A, double P or single P. Especially the people from age of 14 to, I think, even 40, 50, it will be helpful. This is the important thing because nobody would have told you this, except me. I mean, because it's not being touched today very much. N-O-F-A, double P or single P, I can't remember. And they're a group entirely. So you might know if it's happening to you, these are going to drain your energy. You're never going to get enlightened this way. You have to address this, then keep practicing also. Like going relax. So relaxation will increase more. So I've covered almost all the general points. Now, because I'm telling like this now, like now, sometimes I didn't cover these points, but some gentleman I remember in London, he came, because I don't meet them directly, he came to me later and said how after the program, like he was distracted by something through the cell phone, the internet. Because internet is in the cell phone now, right? Something like that. So there he was looking at something very bad, you see. And suddenly after that discourse, that program I remember I didn't explain, but some energy I sent or something, I think. I was very happy. He didn't feel like, he just kept it. The brain would have got suddenly, my goodness. I mean, if you feel like that, where are you going to be born? And today I'm telling you, in every corner, everywhere this is happening. Someone told me, but they better tone down in America because they are very, like sensualists and hedonistic. And I said, no, I believe there are noble, great souls here. I'm sure they are destined. Others we are not going to meet. And don't underestimate their capability. If they put heart and soul into it, they will do great things. If they made great things outside, they will make great things inside. Skyscrapers inside. Now we go for a question. We come to the last part. I go to the analysis and make a meditation. Not the last part. Anything like from this what I spoke, any question you like to ask? Or some children worry, like some parents worry about children doing this, going into this computers and.
Good question. So I have been in business for 27 years.
Okay.
And as business service is the pace of life that you're talking about, everything is instant. Okay. Society has a way of having great expectation, especially in communication. There's instant messaging, emailing. So business is done in a blink of an eye. So sometimes I feel that I'm a slowing car on a highway where everybody else is close.
Okay. You mean materially?
Not necessarily material where it's communication. There's an expectation from others.
Like the standards there.
And the appearance sometimes, and I have an issue with myself because the appearance from the other party is that I'm inefficient. So, for someone who is in the world, and the world is getting faster, has great expectations, what is your advice?
Yeah, sometimes, like I would say, you have to balance it also to some extent. But then you have to balance, like now in Sri Lanka, I say, like there are some gentlemen, like they feel really disgusted with the material life. They feel like letting go everything and going into. So they have sometimes done that also, and the wife coming crying to me. Luckily, it was temporary ordination for 1 month, and then I have to teach him when he comes back that you have, because I told him you have 4 pujas to do. So I said first puja is to your wife. Make her happy. That is a part of meditation. I had it as a layperson with my father. I see the benefit of that. But to get this realizational mind, or to go with the stress-free, these practices one can do, and one can also when one is experiencing that, one knows, one doesn't pay value to this particular, like you do just to exist or just to do, don't pay attention to people's acknowledgement to you or praising you. You don't go into that delight. You just learn, and there's more to life than just simply, getting praise from them or satisfying those people who are ignorant still. I mean, they are going to, in the end, when you're really down, no one is going to appreciate, they will just, so one makes sure that, okay, we have to live in this world. So one has to, but one thing when you're doing this activity, one thing, if the great masters were there, that you're doing it in a, where the consciousness is, your conscious is not, like you're happy with what you're doing, you're not doing against your conscience. So that is important to know, because you're not targeting that inner coolness. When you have that inner coolness, you're quenched. If you don't have that inner coolness, you will go, they will put another standard. You go another standard, and it's just going from a precipice to then you find, my God, I followed some mad people. So there one has to, and I also say that when you get calmness and this, so you tap that already, this is going to enhance that, because you're going to get less tired. And and even by doing that, you're still having some, say, you're not getting into that speed externally. Then there's something, maybe you're destined that much. So then you accept it, and you have a nice smile, and you have a nice sort of attitude about it. Then they will also wonder what this is. I call the madman's happiness, because the happiness for no reason. It looks all bad outside from the other's point of view, but you are happy. That it shows a great soul within you. So, but this have to be done separately. So daily practice of something where you focus and sort of where you are at peace, and you sort of enjoy a certain satisfaction, not where things happen and then you are happy and all that. That's another type of peace one is thinking, but it's a very shallow peace. It's not a solid thing. So now it goes on one to the other. You can't keep at place with that. But there's like a great pool within you. When you learn to relax and rest, this is in the mind that we experience it. This is a state of consciousness. This is not something you can say concretely, this is it. No. So someone might, so it's also depending on the environment. Suddenly you change to country to country. Then you say, I was like a puppet with that social, setup and all that. And then you find suddenly you move. Now, say for example, if I went to Princeton, my parents would be here. And it was going to be a never-ending thing, They would have gone, they'd be coming here. They were all planning that. And my brother would have been just like here. They were planning to come to State Secretary. And then my father, now 76. And I can see, I'm sure he would have got greater thing by, of course, it was quite a thing for them. My father never expected, it was a different type of life completely for his idea, values also. But I think it's a short time, now 46. What can he? Only thing now he's happy is about me. Because now he's facing death and old age. That is a terrible time. Things are like, no one will regret. But we have to do something here, but there's some place real importance that if this is solved or this I meet this, that it comes. So the way you're going is okay. Slower you get, I will show something later. I can do it now. Do you have a nice, very expensive cup? A message to very explicit, very Chinese, no? Just so they will get China. I would like a very expensive one, that you maybe for show you keep. Okay, that is one. And do you have something like normal, normally what you use, like a drinking cup and a plastic cup? I'll take some Gilampasa today. Can I have a little bit kilometer? I'll quickly do this. Sorry, I had to take it alone, right? So let's take this one. It's like an ice cream. You put ice cream fruit salad like this, right?
You want to talk?
No, I don't have a gold cup. I had a gold spoon in gold, I think. This I was, oh, this is okay, this is good enough. So I think let me test a little bit from this, right? Anyway. Very nicely made. Who made this? I'm sorry. For this thing, I have to taste this. You know? Normally, I have practiced no tasting. But for this demonstration, I have to taste. Very nice. Very good. Nicely made. It's a very okay. So this is like a little bit. It's coming this. Must be running some kind of thinking. Oh, very nice. Sounds very nice. The taste will change. Plastic one, right? Plastic one is less heavy also, right? Just imagine. Very nice. So, my friend, you see, did the container change the taste at all? Even if you brought the golden, this cup for me, it will be more heavy, and I have to really look at it so much. The same effect is happening when you're sleeping, because this I have to create this thing. When I went to one house, I was like, I don't go to houses. I was just wondering, like, okay, I think it's a very special devotee with so much, I would say, but I mean, so there I had to take dana before 12. I went to this house, and I found so many unnecessary things. They're not used, but they have spent so many. They want to be monks also, monk and nun, both the couple. So they have made that house on their own, designed and all that, like a palace they have made. It's like a white elephant, you know, and all it took them 5 years, so many years paying mortgage. I mean, all these loans and all that, and spend all that time. And now they are given it for retreats and things like that. But they are planning to now give away the house. That's the only thing that is left that they want to leave and then become ordained. So I was thinking that 5 years, if they had a simpler life without paying all these things, practice, they'd have attained the Markapala already. So there was one person I met in this journey. One lady, you know, she was, what's her name? I don't know. She was in New Jersey, DC, Washington, DC, I think. She has usually gone into a cellar, or what you call cellar, attic or cellar, not cellar, or basement, sorry, a basement. Her place is now in basement and a simpler job, and doing the meditation more important. She doing it. But now some of you all, I know now you can't, I mean, just give me an idea, right? Some of you to make simple, it becomes more expensive sometimes. So you have to see, don't think that just simplicity like that alone is Nibbana. You have to see according to you. It is just I'm just telling you just an idea to create more time and this thing for your what the essential thing in life. And the same thing is happening. It doesn't mean you're neglecting those things. So which has no use and false value to that. In society, you learn to remove that. Then you have much time and you enhance your soul. You enhance your being. You do the work and you set an example to all these people who are living. A nice thing came to my mind. I was in the night. Now they are not here. The people who were taking me in New Jersey. So we were going past at the Manhattan, I think there, and then later on we were coming. Suddenly it came to my mind. I told him that is this why we are attracted to the external thing or fascinated by the external thing. Because why? We are internally poor. There's internal poverty. If your mind was, because the person who feels a yearning so much, because I was noticing this one thing, I was passing through Manhattan and I didn't feel I was going through Manhattan. It was like some, like a small picture in the eyes and ears and all that. And I was happy with that because I want to be an Arahant and come. I'm not an Arahant, but I wish something like that. I was happy with that. Even now I'm coming, just passed by, I think Long Beach, right? Long Beach, of course, I know I heard about Las Vegas, Las Vegas, those days. There was a film also, I used to like to watch that. Chuck, what was it? I can't remember. My grandma used to tell, no, now enough. Those days in Sri Lanka when I was a boy. And it was many films were from here, Charlie Strangers. Charlie Strangers. It was finally I found very funny when I'm coming, but then again, it's very interesting. Because at the beginning time, I remember as a young yogi, I used to pass through, say, Sri Lanka in some cities. I used to be really conscious, like strain myself to not to sort of be distracted. But later on, I was in the forest and spending a lot of time and meditating. And later, when I was in the city again, I noticed I'm not straining like that. I'm just normally going and still the impact is not happening. Then I knew this process of being in the forest, meditating, and there's an effect in your mind. Slowly, that inner poverty is removed. You become rich inside. And you don't feel like an inferiority complex or something. And there's another thing that happens now, for example, say, in this kind of part of the world, they set another example, there's criteria or standard. You're recognizing, when you fall into that kind of, that society, what they value. But if you are sensual, you understand the self and more become free from, you have more knowledge about these sensual experiences. Now, there's once I remember in Birmingham, one boy, he was giving a talk, telling how he became a Buddhist. So he was told how he was. Then he told when he was young also he had the encouragement. Like in his mother's grocery, there was one lady who used to come, an Asian lady, who used to come to buy something, and she was very poor. To buy a small thing and go. So then once he asked the mother, who is that lady? She said, she's a Sri Lanka. And then he asked, why is she so happy all the time? Because she's a Buddhist. But I'm telling any religion, doesn't matter. I mean, if you are, that happiness, it should show in the people. So if you really have that happiness, it will be a blessing whether you're working place, anywhere. You don't feel, like, okay, I'm working under somebody or something, or you don't feel that. That feeling comes of your ego yourself. You have your ego too much about you. But when you remove that and you feel light and this thing, and you have the pride of having no pride, okay, that is, there you can even sort of heal the wounds of other beings also around you. Then you notice it's very powerful. But then you don't belong with you don't feel you're in States or you're in Sri Lanka or Sri Lanka. You don't have those identifications because you're freeing your mind from this illusionary things that you associate to these think it's you. So this is a practice you can do. Now, if you do this practice, simply it doesn't mean you have to be in Himalayas or in Sri Lanka to do this. This kind of understanding triggered in Southern Africa. Now I see some of the places. Now here I didn't notice. I didn't look here because I have seen some other places. It's like you have lonely areas where you can go for a walk. Beautiful. If you read the right thing, contemplate, you might become enlightened by doing that. And here very nice because you don't have the sometimes like Sri Lanka or in your native places, like the relations and all these other social, I mean, even when I go to Sri Lanka, the jungle also, I feel like I feel people are haunting me. The devotees haunting. So now this time for me it's a little tough in Sri Lanka. India is okay. Here in certainly only coming for programs, but it's okay. Otherwise, I feel quite okay. Just moving around and not connected to anybody, any place. So I told you this point. So we are coming to the last area of the demonstration of person. Did you get the answer? Something? You have to try it out and just see. Now you see now just what you're experiencing now is really real. Even that thought of what you're meeting and how you're facing, it's all sort of that make one has learned to think that is one's life. But these are really, one begins to see, what is you is more empty. And because those things have been changing from one to the other all the time. So, but if you notice that change and if you notice how the sense of I came to those things, and if there was no change and some things, do you get the idea of me there? If you question these things, you will notice the secret thing about yourself. With that, you will, now. I had some glimpses of that when I was in Southern Africa. And suddenly my relationship with my brother, my family, all changed. I remember I was very sensual also. I used to pet my brother. My brother was very younger to me, 9 years. So when I went to Sri Lanka, came back in the airport, when they came to pick me up. So I remember he was seated next to me in the back seat. And he just looked at me from top to bottom because normally I would squeeze his stomach and do something. But then he saw that I was just seated. And the time I don't talk this much because the initial stage it was like, the initial was so it's very funny with jeans and t-shirts to be like that. And my mother understood, my father was really sad also. He didn't say anything, I knew. So anyway, at that time, I was feeling them from that time to even up till now, I would say, that like something like far away. That is the real thing. It's not something very real. And so this is something we can experience. This we are supposed to experience. This is a crime if we don't experience this thing and die in this planet. We are not come just to eat and just go behind some other. Now here, when I saw also the contrast of homeless, right? Homeless people. I mean, today I was trying to homeless people and then the people with luxury. There's such a and some maybe I heard some people suddenly they can't pay their mortgage and all that, and then they get stuck with this. So we're just thinking, how uncertainty, even people who have stayed very well, that they are putting to maybe everything going wrong, and suddenly that thing works. I can understand this situation, but that can be the time they are going to know the secret of life. So that downfall is actually you fall up. There's a nice word, right? Falling up. So these falling ups are good for you. It might really trigger, you might become the master of this world because of that. Because of that highness, you miss the secret of life. And so, yeah, what's the time? How many hours we have passed? I don't know. Tomorrow, but some things will be new, a little bit here and there. Anything you'd like to ask before I come to the last part of barbering? Do you know about that? No? Okay.
Is there any fast track to Nibbana?
Fast track. Next visit you meet me and maybe give you a tablet or something. Everybody wants this. Now that's another good question you ask me. I don't know. You see, like for example, I see some teachings coming out where it goes to explaining but I don't want to criticize or I don't know. It's because now people like something like that because they want to keep the life they're having and quickly do a practice. So I also feel, in my case, I think if without meditating, without hard practice, I don't want to get something Because I don't want to Nibbana where I see that I am eating and sleeping and then getting this. I think it's a duplicate Nibbana. Yeah, for me. I don't value something which comes so easy, you know. Now I'm giving some point, but I don't want to hurt anyone. This is one intention of mine because this YouTube, this society, to a thing that is happening in the modern day. But only thing I tell you some safe points. Doesn't matter. It might be happening. Enlightenment, certain way of disclosing, seeing the consciousness, the illusionary nature of consciousness, and so on. That's where normally the fast track trying happens. Now I tell the way actually. I have my personal experience, not through that. There's a way of from the words of the master himself, not my discourses. Now, this is the main point I want to tell because we have limitations. So if someone directs you to the teachings, because the thing is teachings are very simple, but the thing is you need a degree of purity again to get that experience from them. So if there's a shorter method, you would have stressed that before that. You understand? I don't think he lies. So but I don't want you to sort of reject anything also. But check, very important to check also whether whatever way you're practicing, some clarity comes, then how much it affects your daily life. There's no point if it has only clarity that time and later after a few days you're not, there's no change in you. So you have to check something is authentic, that experience. If it's not authentic, also appreciate this. It gave me some clarity, but learn not to. You must, try to do have to go into the other teachings of the master, how it is done, and don't rely entirely on. Because I think conduct should show also what you realize. That's important. Now, there's another excuse like enlightened people, no need. They are, they don't. The way I understand, that's the only yardstick today. For yourself also to know that how much you are getting angry or reacting in a negative way, if it is reducing or diminishing, you're in the right direction. So even another person who is you're getting the teachings or getting encouragement, you must check also whether that person, two things you can see that person is his body and his words. So if they are coming out of irritation and anger, surely he has got nothing with that. What can I get from that in activities, when he's faced with challenges and all that? Like when you're seeing now, say for example, one way to know now other people, now we can't see their minds, right? Sometimes we might think there's a shine in the face or something. Even that, who knows? If you have replied Nivea and come, it can happen. So, but a person when you associate or you see his conduct, if it is happening, his words are coming out of irritation, anger. Surely he has anger. Someone might say, I'm just acting and all that. No, this is not wrong. And it's shown by his body also. They also, that he's got angry. Now, once I remember a young monk in Sri Lanka. He was like, we are the same monastery where I'm staying. So he told me like in the morning I was taking breakfast and then he suddenly was telling me one day, this happened to me today morning. One lady came and she from outside, she was wearing shoes and like she was calling me like this inside the monastery. So in Sri Lanka culture, that's not some of the protocol of how they come. So he was like, who is she like? And then he went to her and said, we have manners. Where's your manners? Something like that he has said like that. And then he told me, like I told like this happened to me one day like that. I said, well, these days all sort of people come. Maybe she was having some disturbance in her mind, suffering. That's why she was not in her presence. Or she would have been, like she would not come to these monasteries or nothing like that, somebody. So I just tried to subdue him. And then I told him also, but it's not good for monks to get angry also. I told like that. And he said, no, Bhante, I didn't get angry. I only, outside I showed anger, but inside there's nothing. But I said, then I told him, if you really didn't get angry, it will not show outside also. Yeah, he got the point. Yeah, like that it will not show the vibrations. Because the vibrations show, and the inside it is really that. That's why sometimes we even with our husbands or wives or children. Now normally big problem is with children because we have attachment there. difficult. We can have a lot of compassion all over. But where we get angry is where we attach to. So that's not easy, I understand. But I had a great grandma, like a yogi. She's a great monk in the Burmese monastery. Yeah, they made this, like I see the portraits of that old that monastery, the monks and all that. They look like commandos, So they would have been meeting these monks, definitely. And then I only heard like this when one of my grandfather's elder brother, when he was dying, one of the sons of his great grandma, she didn't go there. She had no tear in her cheeks. She was having japamala, looking at the Buddha Rupa and with the lamp. She was just there. And then she used to tell my mother was religious also, I think, for a young age. And she used to tell my mother, this is how you practice the 9 days of this decomposition of a body. There's picturing them. That means she has been practicing these things. So this is how they were able to remove the attachment to children. And when you remove your attachment like that, you will be a blessing to that child. If you're such a relation, and I don't want to press this because I have no experience of being a mother or father. I want to only relate to what I did. But if I was, maybe I would do like that. Because now some people worry when you practice like that, whether you become monk or something. No. When you practice, when you purify, when you loosen your ego and all that, if you're a wife, you'll become a super wife. If you're a husband, you'll become a super husband. Because how much you'll be able to withstand the weaknesses and give strength to the person to develop around you. And they will fall in love with you like nothing. I have people where suddenly the husband, like some distraction, and he was going with another, and then the wife is coming. So now, because of the attachment, all that, she would try to create pain and all these things. But if she had some detachment, she would understand the situation. She would understand this is, due to some karma of this period. And then suddenly some unseen negative forces are driving to do this kind of thing. And I explained to her like that. So if you understand like that, then when he comes next time, you can tell you're going through a bad time now. We will do a Bodhi Puja for you. And how much you appreciate that. He will fall in love with you so much. But to do that, you have to be really detached, And otherwise, so if you're detached, your relationships will become really better. And everything with their colleagues and everywhere, if you have colleagues where they are shouting, scolding, if you really don't get some wives, now I will explain the last part where the meditation, how you see there's no person and how to do that. And when I've done that, when they are, some of them they come and tell when the husband was scolding, how she didn't scold back. Because she was able to picture that, it as husband. That is actually that's made out of, it's a concept. It's a concept, how you break through the conceptualizing this thing, and then you will not get the impact of it. You'll be in a neutral state because of that is the reality going on. So you're really focused, seeing the reality, and then the illusion just passes through you. And when that happens, she just go back. It's beautiful, this is the way it has to happen. So I will teach you that certain part now, even in the when I'm facing near-death experience, what I told you, what I focus, a little bit I will just last now demonstrate that. And I suggest, in English, there's one very good book. I call this your GPS. Now, we need a GPS for a journey, right? So you know what GPS means. In the Dhamma, the GPS is the Buddha's teaching. There's it's like a map. So I suggest, because you can't take a GPS like listen to the YouTube of different monks. You understand, including me. Who knows how much they can do? They're just speck of things touching the Buddha originally. So this is something very important where you go to the original word, that is your kamataha. That is your meditation, if you ask some monk, give some kamataha, I don't think that is dangerous, I would say, according to what I understood. Because how can you be an authority of that? You need to give that vision. You may give some clarity, but if you have got the experience triggered by the master, you will know how you got it. But if you didn't get it, you will not see the source there. So, but I don't want you to be prejudiced that way also when I'm telling. But if some explanation or way of looking at things makes you detach, follow that, I would say. Don't worry about it. Because that's most important also. I say even if you go to something, if you go to Disneyland and find your meditation is good, do it there. It may be that previous lives you would have been meditating there. So don't take it like that also. You have to see what happens. Now I just want to show you that how this conceptualizing takes place. I need to see some for this. Any more question? Anyone meanwhile like to ask quickly? Your questions are dangerous. If I was, maybe I was thinking maybe if I was not a monk, I would have had children like this, But I have now a lot of children, small ones and big ones. Actually, children are also like saints, they are like plain and they are just. Once one monk was asked, some monk was asked, he was a very special monk, and they asked him, "What is your specialness? Like you look so calm and all that." He said, "I am a child who refused to grow." It is true that, like now we have to rewind ourselves back to being children. But before that, all this other thinking, worrying, and anxiety. So, but we can do that, I believe. Remove the main ones, and then slowly entering tranquility, doing the work also, that your heart is clear. That is also worship when you have to settle. You have to. I had to do with my father 10 years. I don't say it's in vain. That's all very helpful time. In that time I was thinking, what it is. So this all will come to an end. Whether we are rushing, it's a matter of time. So you must make sure when you're ending, it's a good ending. When you're ending it nicely, you have not misunderstood that moment. So you bring in peace and just do. If it doesn't work, also doesn't matter. That's the way it should happen. You can't think, I wish this should have happened that way, this way. No. That's your misunderstanding of that life. So this is the best way. How it has to happen has happened. And sometimes any question before I go to this last meditation part? Anyone wants to ask?
Okay, you will talk about the GPS
Oh, sorry, thank you. Yeah. So you need a GPS, right? So GPS is normally, I told that the word of I would say, we need to have something to guide us. Those days when they were cutting the hair, they saw the truth. It's a time that was when they were cutting the hair, the monks, when they were shaving, they saw this truth. Just taking it apart. So that because now what all this teaching is so much complicated, but no one is seeing that vision. Because we are in a hurry. We are not creating the tranquility level or purity level. That's why I tell now when you're driving the car, when you're doing the addictions, how to remove, to create that purity. So meanwhile, maybe today, tomorrow, while you're trying to do that, when you're going through your GPS, because the teachings are like signposts, it triggers a certain vision. You don't try to, like, now I say Buddha says hardness here. Like in those days there was no electrons or this thing to show material form. So he told in terms of nature. Hard nature here, like when you tap on my teeth and like this, and the hard nature of this mic here. Nature-wise, it is sin. If you take like this, then the liquid fluid nature, say you have urine or whatever here, and then you put it out into the toilet. It goes with the water. But that water and that fluid nature, if you take it like that, it is sin. Because it's in this space, you get a sense of it's my this thing. Okay. So I'm just going to show this. So the GPS, you know what means GPS, right? Do you know my GPS what it means? It's called, I'm going to tell you, right? Guru Position System. You know the Guru, right? Guru Position System. So this is the Guru position. Our Guru is the master. So we need a system to listen to the discourses directly. But there's a way, when you read, you must learn to refer. It's like a map. and you must make it a meditation where you look through that. And when you're properly applying, if you're holding on to something, you will let go of that, and you will feel an immediate lightness in your mind. So that you must check whether the lightness is coming. That means some thought you are holding on to. And then suddenly when you apply, say for example, someone scolded you. Okay, you remember that, you're hurt with that. But what is that? It's in the past. So that past, what was it? It was through your eyes you experienced something, ears. And it was the mind that the person, some sound came, and it was consciousness, eye consciousness, ear consciousness. And in the consciousness, it gave the perception, this is Mr. John or Mr. Pumpkin or whatever. Right? Or some name you give. But when you see that this was just you can even now remember, anything that you can really remember. It's a vague thing. How it was there, and then it was no more. And if you have really done that exercise, you might find you're letting go of that. You have no give importance to that. And you can think, now this experience was same like that, which was similar. And the same thing will happen to this. It will vaporize after some minutes. So this is a type of meditation where you will be analyzing or seeing the analysis of reality. And then you will, that anityata, impermanence, that begin to become slowly, doing it to a certain extent, a vision will come from that. And as a kind of a knowledge and understanding, like everything is passing away. But you must not prematurely imagine what it is and so on. It's important. So these are exercises done, some of the teachings. Now I go just to one thing. I need somebody's hair. Donation. So just take will not disturb your nice time. Do you feel this is your hair? Not a wig, right? Okay, sure, it's your hair, right? Now, how much you feel is yours? Sorry? No. You don't feel this is yours now? Just imagine how fast it became not his. Suddenly, Yeah. Because it's just in this space. Just think of it. All the time it was not his. All this is not his. Continuously, but we are not mindful of it. This is coming to self-realization. Self is not something that can change so fast. So because it's in this space, the concept, wrong attention. Now this is very graphic, of course, this is you cut and separate and really physically separate from the outside. So this cutting is a type of meditation where you do in the mind. Where you separate this and see the conceptual distinct form, how we remove, take part, then you see this person is not there. So when the meditation type of meditation where hardness here and the hardness is same, this is trying to activate that awareness of reality. You understand? So I just gave small, very simple. But now the other thing is, you might think, easy to think the body is not you or something like that, but to think the consciousness is not you is not easy. Because it rises so fast and goes away and it makes like a stream. It looks like the mind is very much you. But remember, the consciousness can't exist without a body. So when you know the body is what it is, when you have an understanding, when you know that when you see the body is not you, then the consciousness is also cannot be. So with consciousness only you get this idea, this is my office, this is my boss, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my body. All that because you're conscious. If you close your eyes, sometimes you don't even know this. So this is something, if you think much, your problems will just dissolve. Wisdom is the final way that will, burn your every kind of, and create suddenly a revolution in your life. Oh, another thing, something. Okay, say you are falling off, like things are, I told you, king of God, Sakkar, he was losing his life. He was losing his life. He was going to, his lifespan was coming to an end. And then what happened? He came to meet the Buddha. And when he listened to the discourse, he became Sotapan. That is, he got the eye of the Dhamma. That means he saw these truths about, the not a person and something in a certain standard. So what happened there? That revolutionized. He got new lifespan. And now he must be still there. So I'm telling you, even in your life, don't think these moments of meditation will have a revolution in your health, in your wealth, if there are problems happening in all these spheres of your life, they will start to get boost. Because you're changing the root of your existence, destiny. So others people think it's only for because when you know the entire mechanism, your problems regarding other things also will diminish when you become enlightened, when you become more distinct. But the thing is, when you get more insight, you don't feel the problem also. There also no problem. you can solve also, but so that needs a lot of real understanding and we think that this is the way. So we do any question? Your last meditation, 5-10 minutes.
What is
Consciousness without a body. Consciousness does not exist without a body. It can't happen. Like you can't have a free consciousness. It has the body as the base. But to identify consciousness is like normally the medical now they only know the neurons. They're trying to understand that something is like a part of body. No. So now with rebirth and all that is connected with consciousness. So one nice question was asked by one great monk in the audience that how to explain rebirth. Can you prove? Sorry, how to prove rebirth? It can all be done with bodily things. So he gave another nice question. He asked, "Can you picture a flower? Possible? Can you picture a flower?" The monk he asked that. Yes, Venerable sir. And he said, "What flower did you picture?" He said, "It was rose or something." And then he said, "Can you prove that you pictured a rose flower?" You can't prove that, right? So that is very nice that you can see this consciousness is something that's where you have the body, but when you recognize something, that's consciousness. You're aware of something. That's why we call conscious. Unconscious means no recognition, no nothing. So the factors of consciousness only Buddha says Vedana, Sanya. Because he was enlightened mind, he knew the exact, like you are feeling and you recognize the feeling as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. This is perception. And then you react immediately with greed for what is pleasant, with irritation, with aversion. That is sankhara, reaction. So that these are the factors. For every moment this happens.
So the understanding of body is also consciousness.
To understand the body,
The realization of body is consciousness.
that is to be aware of the body. Like when you're aware that you have a body in this form or this shape,
It's the consciousness that gave birth to your body.
It doesn't, it's always coexisting with the body. Like for example, you have the bulb, and the electricity, that's the life part. Otherwise you have a dead body, it's just dead. So for example, when you're rising in the mother's womb, for example, first initial patient, it comes, we call it the Nama Rupa now. We have the body and the naming part is the consciousness. Rupa is the physical part, like this thing, and then the idea, like we have a cup, for example. The capacity is the naming the cup is the recognition. And, but if you think of like, sorry?
So it continues and creates the body.
So it means it takes the body as a support. The body comes as karma. It manifests when you have, so when karma is created, karma is generated, the seed is created in the physical base. Simultaneously, the consciousness is there. It's together. Never can you find a point where there is body separate and there's no consciousness. Of course, in a dead body, consciousness no there. Just a dead.
What I've learned is what I've been told is that you, or what you perceive as you, your consciousness, is like I've heard it described as like the shadow of a tree. For it to exist, you need both the ground, the sun, and the tree, but it is more a product of the existence of those three things than something in and of itself. And so people connect this to anatta and soul.
Yes.
How does this relate to rebirth? How does that work?
How does that work with?
Rebirth.
You create the cause now. There are like conditioned things to happen there, right? You are stopping the conditions. I mean, having no rebirth. You didn't ask me that question, I know. Because I'm concerned about having no rebirth. So, but how to connect with rebirth? Because any moment of consciousness has these feelings, perceptions, these factors. So normally, the last moment, it is said that, now, even now, for example, you feel suddenly to come here. It's a thought first, right? So that shows that you have some destiny to be here, some karma to be here. The thought came and then you were driven to go. Okay, but first it starts from a thought that, oh, there's a program here, and then the drive comes for you to go, and you come here. Without a very thought and any drive, will you ever come here? No. So same way, the last moment actually, always when dying, the thought comes, the last thought, that becomes an object for consciousness. Consciousness needs an object to arise. Now, what is the deep subject? Deep means people like to take it intellectually, but this is the whole thing actually. I don't want to touch this way, but because you asked, I will definitely this thing. So normally, all who are dying, who are unenlightened, they are distracted by a last thought. They don't send the last breath consciously. The last function of the body, they are not conscious of it. Only the enlightened people, but this I really don't know whether I should touch this. They are observing the last moment of the physical, the function. And where they are keeping that as an object, no object is taken, no rebirth takes place. You understand? But to do that, you have zero desires. Zero desires, zero karma, they are together. That's why that's happening. But when you don't have zero desire, then we get distracted by it. And that becomes an object for consciousness to arise in another place. You understand? Do you get it?
Yeah.
Keep it bake, allow it to bake in your head. One day when you're meditating, who knows? You might see this.
But it's not really consciousness that goes to the next body or
Because
whatever.
consciousness
Going, coming is there. It depends on the relative. Even now we are dying and being reborn. You understand? We can take rebirth and death even to this present moment. It's like that consciousness works like that. But we get this idea when we hold on to something as permanent. This idea we get theories of something going, something staying.
Yes, but you said karma attaches to an object?
Mm-hmm.
Attaches to an object or is carried by?
Karma makes you distracted of
Yes.
and brings an object also.
Okay.
And the object is coming out of past karma. And then you are distracted because there is karma in that.
So consciousness rapidly, rises and dies. So how does well, I don't want to say what goes because I understand that nothing actually goes from one to the other. There's it's not like that something that goes from one to the other. But
you could take like this. I should take like this, for example.
The light.
Yeah, like frames of a movie that you see as continuous.
So it's like it's there, or when it's this thing, it's all there.
But if we're constantly dying and and
reborn.
being reborn, then what
I mean,
carries our
consciousness.
what carries karma from one?
To the other.
Yeah.
It's like the seeds, for example. The jackfruit tree, like there you have that potential is there in there. You can't say that it's in some place or anything, it's stored up. So normally it is from the, like you can you ever imagine the jackfruit, such a huge tree in that small seed? So it's invisible, it's not something, but it's there. You understand? It's not something, but we can know from what's happening, like people who had before certain, like they were like inner scientists, they knew the cause of this body, like the more intuitive way, this action brought this body. And so that's how they found the olden days, the rishis already knew the rebirth process and how the sins and good things, good deeds, bad deeds, how we brought these scenarios in the body and so on.
So if it's not the consciousness, what is actually what carries your karma to the next?
What that is, you are talking of the engineering of the body is a result of past karma. Karma is a term of a certain principle. You understand? It's a principle of the actions ripening somewhere. So the ripening, the visible or the tangible part of that ripening is the fruit you call is the physical body as the base, and the feelings you get from consciousness, your experiences, feeling of pleasure, sadness, like this, So that is, if you give sadness, you get sadness. You get, like this. If I tell in simple terms, you are in sad areas, like that. So if I take it very simple, but then the result of that is the process is, that this has come from, this body has come from past karma. That cannot be known by, it can be known by someone who has developed that particular microscope. That is a meditative microscope. You understand? Because this subject of what exactly when the action you need to have this experience, this is also unthinkable. It can't be known by a normal, it's another area of knowledge. Have called unthinkable also, but it's known to the people who are like masters. Where it's stored, there's no like genes or somewhere you can pinpoint. Like, you
I
understand what
know.
you mean?
Yeah,
So that
because
is,
genes is physical, and that's just not something that happens.
any more questions?
I got a question. What do you mean by mind and what do you mean by consciousness?
This topic I am not, the sort of, I would say the brain, I would call it like the organ. You have the brain as an organ. Consciousness, of course, I don't know how to separate them really. Tell you honestly, brain and mind and now, which I know is like the word term. I see it like similar function. I don't see it very much different. Like consciousness, I see the function of brain. We have it as an organ also. We connect more with the organ also, and like the entire thing. But when you say we separate the brain as an English word, like the reptilian brain, just one is stand here. Just
Cindy, hang on.
Just you can stand here. Just you can stand here. Wait, just stand here. The 2, 3 have gone, no? Oh, are they there? Okay. Happiness. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, is this yours? Excuse me, is this yours? Okay.
So my next question is kind of related to the previous question. So when you ask how you separate the body and the consciousness, you just said, there can be a consciousness without the body that should be together.
Together means it's like a vessel.
Kind of.
It's a vessel.
Okay. So
Like we have nerves, nerves and all that. The body is the basis for consciousness to be.
and then you said, when I asked the question, the difference between mind and consciousness, you said it's kind of similar.
Similar means I never thought about it. Like definition of words, I never thought about it.
Okay. Because
Brain, I do understand. I sort of give the word brain to the organ.
because in Buddhism we heard about the four Brahma realm without the body, just the mind.
I understand. I know.
There my question.
Okay, I understand. There are, when it says without the mind, it's a kind of a latent. I would not say it's not at all there. It can't happen. Only at Nibbana Dhatu, where this all extend completely the thing that we could think about it that way. But there it's stored in relation to the lower dimension, the lower Brahmaloka. In relation to that, but problem is only if you experience that you will know exactly the meaning of that. But with the way it's described like that, but you can't sort of conclude that that is like without the mind. That maybe mind, not consciousness. Maybe no mind. I don't know. But again, that term mind.
When you say mind, it's the mind of thoughts only, So
the thing, when I don't want to, I say only consciousness as a word. It's for me.
because
When you're conscious of one thought, like you always have a thought separately from five senses is another thing from the mind. Now again, I use mind, right? Yeah. You see, there you can use the mind there. Mind as separate there. Like you have memory, you have objects coming from the five senses as a memory, you reflect. So mind you could say, where you are having independent, not from an immediate experience. So now fresh in the present moment experiencing. So, but when you study more deeply, now it's coming from the past.
when you meditate, in my consciousness, you come to a stage where there are no thoughts.
You come to one thought. Samadhi means you have one thought. So your attraction to the five senses are absent that time. So the desires. So when they are subdued, you have that one thought, that equanimous.
But see, back to that, when I was meditating and I didn't have I became a light.
A light.
There was no body, there was no mind.
Yes.
So I was just light only.
Your mind was experiencing the light, but mind is there. It's a mind light.
Mind light.
Yeah, it's correct. I understand what you're telling. So it's good. With the samadhi, it's a more.
It's very, very peaceful and calm.
It may be something you have practiced in the past life, and so that's so helpful to. And then after this thing, you can read the Skanda Varga Satipatthana Sutra after these experiences. That will help you. So like that, you use that strength of mind, peace of mind to see the truth of life. I don't like to name this today. You this habit of always naming. Yeah, I say you had a peaceful mind. That's better because today a lot of knowledge. Sorry. For practical purpose, it's nice to note it as peaceful mind. Otherwise, like I remember sometimes one couple, the wife said, we want to make samosa. India, we have samosa. And so the wife said, I'm going to make samosa. The husband said, first you prepare, then we'll do the naming process. Because you are not a good cook, I think. so like this, we name a lot about the meditation episode. Better, I don't think because that might even hinder you experiencing it properly. So just you're free, you're bright, you feel when you're practicing metta or Sudhuguna or any other Vipassana or something like this. And then you're walking meditation, reading is important, applying this skandha, like this concept when you're taking away, separating, and just watching yourself, maybe in the bed. These are very good. This will
Could consciousness be explained as a witness? Because consciousness is there.
I understand what you're telling.
Even a tree has consciousness.
This witness is coming, this idea of witness, it is the best part of conscious experience you can have. Sometimes one might call it pure consciousness. So but you must know this is connected with this feeling of equanimity, of peacefulness. That's why you are seeing so that's also a consciousness. Buddha is talking about, when he talks about, he sees all levels of consciousness. It's called Atita Anagata Pachuppanna, Achattanva, Vahiddanva, Volarikanva, Sukuma, Inanva, Pranitanva, Tamdureva, Santike, Sabbantam, Vinyana, Netam, that is gross or subtle, that is low or high. The way he tests every type, past consciousness, future, present, he just takes any type of consciousness. It's Netam, not me, not myself. So normally when you're in that conscious, what you're telling about weakness and all that, normally many yogis, they practice this. They take that as a self also. Because wherever there is that, that some feeling you are there, you get a sense of self. That is where you lose the sense of self completely. That is you could take it as the final point of liberation. Now the sense of self comes in the consciousness is the feeling part of the consciousness. Mainly the main factor of consciousness is the feeling. Say you are now seated, your legs get numb. If you don't see from your eyes the leg, you get the idea whether the leg is there or not. Right? You may see the leg is not there. Right? But you can see when the blood starts flowing and you get the sense of it. So really, it's very nice with the feeling, with ignorance. In certain places, Buddha explains. With wrong attention, you get an idea of self there. If you have no feelings whatsoever, will you get the sense of I? Can you associate something for that to arise? No. Like for emptiness. So sometimes when you see the illusion of self, you reach an empty area of your mind that is close to Nibbana, I would say. Yes.
Regarding the consciousness, Buddha explains it that the consciousness arising from the Salayasanas. So therefore, consciousness is limited to the Salayasanas, which is mind, the mano, as one of the ayatanas. So therefore, then
six Salayatana means the six of
senses. This high consciousness, and so forth. And consciousness is always discriminatory. There is me seeing you.
Right.
So there is discrimination.
Duality.
Duality is there. There is always a self-arising.
Duality is a wrong observation of it.
Yeah. But the mind and the chitta are two different entities. The mind is a ripple, like a ripple on the flowing water, whereas in the depth, the water is not shaking. It's that chitta. The ripples of the chitta, it's that mind that is connected to the
now, that's why I say that I don't want to replace the word consciousness. You have to be conscious to be there. So that is, even the ripple is an effect of aspect of consciousness.
Oh, the ripple is the ripple of the mind brings about consciousness. Yes, all right. But at the stage of equanimity in samadhi, and reach the state of equanimity, consciousness totally disappears, body totally disappears, and the self totally disappears, and Rupa Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana all disappear, except for this Chitta, which now appears as a luminous Chitta, which is called the Papasara Chitta. Luminous Chitta still Avidya Chitta. That stage is maintained. So there you see the difference of the body as a separate entity and the mind and the Chitta as a separate entity. Because here the self has disappeared.
Did you experience this, or how is it? You are trying to experience it, is it?
No, I'm talking to experience.
Experience, okay.
So therefore, when the Chitta at this stage is luminous, no time and space, therefore the effect, there is no body. Nama Rupa is totally, because the Pancha Nivarnas are suppressed. So this luminous Chitta, which is also Buddha refers in the Buddhaka Nikaya as the purpose of the Chitta, luminous, without any, but still, because the luminosity is radiating or coming out from a central spot, which is the avijja. And this is the avijja Chitta. Because you come back again, just like snakes and ladders, once you come out of it. And there itself you see the impermanence. And this stage brings about a lot of understanding that the body is a separate entity and the Chitta is a separate entity. The Chitta can survive without the body. You see that. Therefore, you have no debate over rebirth. Rebirth is there. When the Chitta, during the Patisanti Vijnana, then the Chitta, Patisanti Vijnana is independent of the Salayatanas. So Patisanti Vijnana, when it comes out, when that Patisanti Vijnana, what goes on is that Chitta with your, with all the karmic effects sort of engraved in them, that Chitta. So therefore you see that the Chitta is now independent of your body, but when you come back to your normal thing, the Chitta comes back and gets involved in this body. So you see for sure that rebirth is a possibility.
Not a possibility, it's a reality.
Yeah, it's a reality.
Yes.
More or less a reality. I use the word possibility, though, but it's a reality. You are convinced of it. And the other thing that you are convinced is that the body and the Chitta are two different separate identities. But the most important thing, you lose all doubt. You are no longer doubtful of the Buddha Dhamma and the Sangha, because you followed that Dhamma, and therefore you have no doubt about your path, because you are taking the right path. So therefore, there's another idea is that this view of self, which is called the view of self, is also a falsehood. Because you see, there is the existence of the Chitta without the self. So Chitta is the only thing that remains. Because the Chitta is pure knowing, without knower.
Yes.
So therefore that knowing is something that does not arise. Therefore it does not cease. So therefore, if that pure, but it is still not pure because you still see the luminosity. But in Arahant, the Chitta being pure, knowing, there is no arising, there is no ceasing. And that is the reality. If it is real, it cannot be impermanent. But if it is permanent, then it has to be reality. So Nibbana is a reality because it does not change.
That is the one great sign of what Nibbana should be. It can't be changing. And because we are looking for something, it does not change. Good, very good. So, wish you good luck and strength to. And I always also think always how much it will help us when, say, someone is scolding us or something happening where we would see this process and where we can sort of not feel it or separate from it.
Yeah, because when you think of it, when you look at something, you see an image, but do we really see an image? It's only electromagnetic waves that hit your retina, which is processed by the mind through sanya and brings about that concept.
When you break apart like that, actually, that's why breaking apart makes you see through concept. Concept is something that's you're coming more to see the reality of it. That is true. So we do a last meditation. Thank you very much for a nice. No more questions?
Consciousness be a weakness or
A weakness?
yeah.
Or consciousness could be a weakness.
No. Could consciousness be a weakness or like could you avoid consciousness or like
Avoid? You must avoid game consciousness. Only those consciousness you have to avoid. Don't worry, you can play a little, don't worry, right? You can play a little. But you must remember mommy all the time and Tati, or make them not upset. So some consciousness you must be careful. Some consciousness you can do. Okay? But you're okay, no worry. I'm gonna have the last one cut there.
Swami Master, if we are facing that, what is your advice? Because we may not forget Buddha if we make it an accident, or we don't know when the death will arrive. So, what is your advice for us?
Habituals. Moment of death, habituals. As I told you, like when I was facing an altitude sickness that time, one habit was to sort of watch what I'm made up of. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara. Netam, Mama, Meso, Nameso, it's not me. Thero Netam, Yata Bhutam. You see this with more tranquil mind. If you're really seeing it properly, one sign is bring that the mind turns away. Like you're holding a string and you see like a snake. There's no question. That's a sign of if you have a person understanding of that, you will let go automatically. So this is called normally etam santam, etam pranitam, sampasankara sankara. What is it? So this mental this habit, what you daily do. So daily if you're tranquilizing, analyzing, doing these practices, definitely that will come to your. So you're going to office, you're driving, you're now removing what you're addicted to, and one by one you're enjoying that peacefulness. You die peaceful. Normally when some crisis or some problem is there outside, you're affected because why? It's not because the crisis, because you're not pure inside. If you're pure, you will take it in a positive way and you will see it differently, you will not feel it. So your pure means you have not corrupted yourself much and you have increased that inner desire, happiness inside. So when that is happening, surely there are chances you're already like in a Devaloka. And when you're reaching, you're going in that direction, not coming to this kind of fear. So what you daily do, if you worry daily about children, family, and household, you have to worry also. But there are times you must learn to forget completely. Your meditation should come to that point, that level. Forget means you don't feel, you're not distracted in your shrine room and so on. Where you master that inner observation, that inner perception. So you get no tiredness or worry from that. You have already reached that particular. Then if you die, you are not distracted. Means surely you have mastery of where you will be born. It's a good place. You understand? So this you do like a daily, and you monitor what mistakes you have, what you are addicted to, and remove one. Like I was one thing I gave up to become a monk was cricket. If I ever gave up something for becoming a monk, it was the game of cricket. They for clubs and just so attachment for it. So like that one, then of course now I'm checking how I can improve more. What I'm going to remove so that finally you will not feel death actually. Death will not happen to you. You don't identify with what dies. When you think this is your property. If somebody is carrying this off and doing something, you feel affected. But you see this as something not yours, you're not worried about it. So I'm not telling, but I would say now many ask me this question, Bante, all this going to jungle, staying in Himalayas, what have you reached? Now in these crowds, no one asks me, what have you attained or something like that. If I look back, I would say that if someone was going to come now and say, I'm going to kill you or shoot at you, I would say that this is the best thing I have done to face that. That means kill my defilements before death comes. Now, like we were in the jungle, I was like 6 months back, I was in very deep jungle in Kabalita, have you heard? In Sri Lanka, yes, the national park. From Kabalita, from Kabalita, 1 kilometer, you know how they go? What way to go? Okay, just stand up 1 minute. I'm going to give blessings if you can say 5-10 minutes. 5 minutes? 10 minutes I'll finish it. And in Kabalita, like there's an army post, right? From there they gave me food like 1 kilometer inside. There's like a abandoned hut. So some of the people who dropped me and even the army, they thought, who is this monk coming? They thought, they're how to stay in this jungle like this. So anyway, they dropped me, I stayed. And the night they have been talking, why is this monk not frightened? Like nighttime, they are coming, elephants coming. And we are like 3 of us together when we want to, give him some food and all that. Then they thought because we have families, we are attached to this thing. So that's why we have these bodies to leave this body. And so one thing is, okay, some little less fear to face death. I don't think full maybe if I attain something really, I hope one day is the only thing to do if you're living in this life to prepare for that final exam. So you live daily this practice, enjoy the peacefulness, detachment, and doing your duty. I think that's the best way. And the analyzing meditation is very helpful. Because when pain comes, other like samadhis, they will not work. I've experienced this very much. So like suddenly you watch the feeling, the pain. If you have read like Anatta Lakshana, and now we'll be doing that. Just now then. So just relax the body a bit. Okay. Maybe tomorrow I might, I hope I can do something, I would suggest in English, the translation of Word of the Buddha is a very handy book. Under the Four Noble Truths by Ven.Gnanaloka Mahathera. They are about the 4 elements, they are very interesting. And directly from the Buddha, it's not someone explaining about it. So there you get, this is important, you read a bit, then get that as your nimitta, focus. But the problem is you think too much, you don't get that insight. If you don't think, it's also a problem. So this is like a small signpost. And this is what I understand, this it will trigger an insight, so you have to allow it to bake in your head. So now, now I am demonstrating each part. If you want to attain Nibbana as far as the way I understand, you have to do this calming down to wait without thinking. Just relax and that with metta and all that. Then thought has to come, the insight. So to do that, these are like signposts, where the Buddha says sometimes, if you have near your bedside, the books, like you can keep it near your bedside, read a bit, contemplate what you have to contemplate. If not, just skip that. And he talks about what now is the like, first before you focus on this, you must be relaxed. So all this time you were not relaxed. And when you're relaxed means, so if you're all the time relaxed in your life, all the time you can contemplate. Contemplation becomes sati sampajanya, where you see the cause and causes of what you're going through. So to do that, you need a certain degree of tranquility. So when you normally, maybe I just do this quickly, that you have to find some technique like this. Really the nerves and all that, so that just to get the relax the nerves. This might be helpful if you don't have time for do a walking meditation. You have to let go of everything physically. And when you do that, you later pay attention to the sounds near you, hearing you, what you're hearing, the sound. You can hear a vehicle accelerating. Try to hear them properly. When you're nicely relaxing, you must sit in a comfortable posture one day when you're seated. When you're nicely relaxing, you'll be noticing something, what is happening in your body. Like inhalation and exhalation, inhaling and exhaling. This should not be like an anapanasati. You should be noticing it naturally that this is happening, how you are inhaling and exhaling, how your chest is expanding, relaxing with that. When you notice that naturally, you have come to a natural, good place of present moment, in the presence of the present moment. Then you can do the contemplation of it. First, you must check how your body is seated, like from looking from outside. How you are dressed up, in my case, robes, in your case, jacket or blouse or t-shirt or whatever. How you are dressed up, you must picture yourself. You must picture yourself like that. Then you can go to what the master says. He says, what now is the solid element of the Vidhata? The solid element may be one's own or it may be external. And what is one's own solid element? You must relax and watch your own body. Whatever in one's own person or body there exists of karmically acquired hardness, firmness, such as the hair, but slightly picture of the head, hairs of the body, the nails, the teeth, skin, kidney, arrow, heart, like that he goes. Now, whether it be one's own solid element or whether it be the external solid element, that means hardness of nature in the outer things, they are both merely the solid element. Now, that is the inside part. When you compare like that, just simply You go beyond the concept of a person. And one should understand according to reality and true wisdom. This is called Evam Pasan Yata Bhutan. Netam Mama. Neso Hamasmi. Neso Attam. This is not me, not myself. So this is actually slowly you must allow it to bake in your head. This is with the solid nature, then there is the liquid nature. Sometimes it may be the tap water and the water-like nature of the blood vessels. When you compare like that, mentally picture actually is just a nature-wise. What is this idea of person? So it needs a degree of tranquility and relaxed nature, and you must apply it to yourself like that. So there are another two more elements of heat, temperature. Another one is air in nature, the movement of movement, like the in-breath, out-breath, stomach, wind in the stomach, or the chest, and the wind outside, there's no difference. When you picture and separate like that, the sense of I, a person, until it really you don't get, you should maintain that picture. That exercise of that is a type of meditation. It will lead you to final goal of removing any kind of greed, hate, and delusion. So there are other ways of approaching it. So whenever you're reading this, you must apply it. Get the mental picture. Allow you to let go things. And then that happens more and more. So just if you take the body and consciousness, Rupa Vedana Sanya Jnana Vikave, Sankara Vijnana, Vikave Anatta, not yours, he says. This body, feeling, perception. Vijnanam Chahidam Vikave Atta. Why is it not yours? Abhadaya is subjected to affliction. So you must just mentally picture it's afflicted. Even the body you have to move here and there because even now you are afflicted. Just note that. And if you have to face old age, whatever you really notice, death, normally an ignorant mind, just note that. You don't want it to happen, but it has to happen. Just slow down, stop and just think how which you really don't wish and it will have to happen. Don't bring anything from past what you've heard and read. Just make this awareness, realization fresh, like you are meeting the Buddha face to face. This is very important. Don't be a rush to bring in the answer. Learn to slow down your thinking, and then it should trigger from your own awareness. You must activate that own awareness, that is the wisdom brain. You are trying to awaken it, not just rush into thinking patterns. And then you look at it slowly. Abhadaya samadhi, labhyeta javijnana, evame vijnana, evame vijnana. May my consciousness be like this. May my consciousness not be like that. It doesn't follow all this. For example, you want to get this experience, like your boss to not to scold you, or you don't want to hear the news someone dear to you died. But this brings you a different truth. So you can just actually put it into reality. Something which we don't have complete control. It is not in your control. So get hold of that. When this practice deepens, evam pasam yata bhutam. If you happen to have glimpses of this more deeply, it will that village, nirodhe, nibbana. You might even experience nibbana. Etam santam, etam panitam, sarvasambhavam samam. Patisam, tannam kaya, vidam. Your mind slowly subduing, craving, extinguishing, and all the formations coming to it slowly. This is what you do. Just imagine if you experience this more and more. May this happiness come to you. And you think of all who are in this room, may they experience this particular state of peace, all of them. You picture all of them. Like you're going in a helicopter, you go away from that building, in the neighborhood, all these human beings, they're also looking for happiness. How much, but the way they understand, they're trying their best. They're falling like they're small ants. You're looking from up. You wish them also that they come to this knowledge. Not only these people here, entire California state, Los Angeles, and then North America, Canada, like you're looking from up. And Central America, South America, Europe, Africa, Sri Lanka, India, China, so many like ants, Australia, Russia, entire Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all human beings, may they come to this happiness, in realization. They all looking for happiness. Not only human beings, animals, billions of creatures, unseen spirits, lower suffering worlds, to the lowest worlds, to the highest angels, and the highest Bambalapitiye. They don't have greed, hate, but they have delusion, a sense of I. Even when that delusion is removed, how peaceful they look, like the other. So wish for those highest states to the lowest and in between. Picture it from outside. May every sentient beings not have a single negative thought. Someone would have done some mistake to you, but you must shed your compassion. Out of ignorance, they have all beings. May they never suffer. So I just did some contemplation, change it to metta, samadhi practice. You can change your meditation, right? When you are alone, you can do more. So I'm going to give you some blessings now before we leave. It also comes to an end, everything. Anyone have any particular problem? Would like to raise their hand slowly that I would like me to bless you, especially. Just slightly less if there's something I would like to get this. Maybe you'll think about something really troubling you in your life. One thing I couldn't tell yesterday was, how are you? You have no big problems here, I hope. But I give some blessings. I must tell you that this is like coming from the mountains, the Himalayas, this energy. So it's good if you don't talk much as possible tonight. You can take dinner or something, that's okay. But try to remain calm and to get absorbed in your system, in the brain. There are some blessings more coming in the night time. So I just want to tell you all. Tomorrow morning you can do. You get it? Try, you can meditate or do something, no problem. Gentleman behind, money. Tell him to come from like that. Front is the seat where you can see. Just the seat, huh? Seat. Seat, you can sit. You can sit down. You can come more back. And back there are some. Till I'm last now. Last person. Everything is there last. What did you bless her before coming? Okay. So, great. One more time, when the problems, just raise slightly one more time. You have a cold and cough, don't raise your hand. Maybe the organizers you can contact in case something I give something for a very medical treatment or some big problem, that not really solved. But maybe before I leave, you ask them then. Otherwise, these blessings always will be going to all of you. Biggest problem is the samsaric journey. Think that solution comes. close your eyes for 5 minutes.